From downtown, this is Tim Kitzer from NBA Jam, and you're listening to Nintendomain Podcast. Boom shakalaka!
This week on Nintendomain, we have Alex here to talk to us about Summer Games Fest, and E0 continues on.
So it seems that to me that if you steal too many cars, you start to get really out of shape because you're never walking.
I think I had too many Zeldas.
Ready? Go!
Welcome to the Nintendomain Podcast, episode 426, your place to hear Nintendo fans talk about the ever-continuing, never-ending E0, as we're in week 2 of it right now. But this week, we have Alex here to talk to us about Summer's Game Fest again. But hold on, before we talk to you, let's introduce ourselves. I'm Trey Out of Breath Johnson.
I'm Jeremy Platinum Pussy Mikowski.
I'm John Loves Bundles Knitter.
And our special guest this week,
I'm Alex Day One Orona, as I've been told.
What's up, Alex? I wanted to bring you back on because you went to Summer Games Fest again this year, right? You were there last year. I remember. Did Joel come with you or no? Were
Joel
you
came with me the first year. This year I went solo.
Okay, yeah, I thought you were solo. I didn't extend invite to Joel, but I do want to have him on the show in the future because I want to talk about Fading Afternoon once he gets his review out there. Because I know I'm glad he's playing that because I thought about him while I was playing it. But yeah, no, I'm happy to have you here. Summer Game Fest, and so tell us about it. Like, what was it like? Did you see the Xbox stuff too, or is it just like Summer Game Fest, or what's happening in LA when you go out there?
Well, it's a small campus, and so you're kind of put in, like, you walk around LA till you find the campus, and then they kind of sectioned off 5 or 6 buildings. And each of them are different. They're different developers or publishers. So, like, there's a Capcom building, and then there's like all these indies over here. There's a Sega building, et cetera, et cetera. There are also secret games, but you have to kind of be real privy to those.
Oh, sure. Like it's like invite only, like that sort of thing. Like they gotta send you a special envelope that says like you're invited to Smash Brothers or whatever it is.
Exactly, and so I was not privy to some of those. I snuck into one. And that I was pretty hyped on. But other than that, I couldn't get into anything else.
So I mean, you're there for Nintendo World Report, right? Still,
yes, I am.
They sent you out there. Like, What is Nintendo's presence like for Summer Game Fest? Like, I remember last year it was the ones that I remember was like Mortal Kombat 1 and Sonic Superstars from talking to you and Joel, but it's like I would imagine it's probably less, but I guess I don't know, was like Super Monkey Ball there, like what did you play that you think is heading to Switch, or what, or did you get to play?
Well, they have Sonic Generations plus Shadow.
Okay, yeah, there's that one too,
which I really liked. I like Sonic Generations, so it was crazy. And they took away Shadow's gun. They don't have gun no more.
What? No.
The official word from the developers was he is a weapon, which is kind of a cool answer if you ask me.
He's a felon. He can't have a gun.
I did see a little bit of the of some of the footage of the Shadow levels, and I thought they looked really cool. So, I mean, I'm on board for this one, even though I already have Sonic Generations, but I don't have the Shadow one. I just have the regular one on PS3. Like F that.
Well, again, this is the first time.
Yeah, no, exactly. I'm saying I don't have this version. I have the old version that I bought for $10 whenever.
It's still a really good game.
Yeah, I didn't get that far into it. I got it because it was on sale. It was when the Sonic the Hedgehog movie came out, and they had all the Sonic games on sale. And I bought Generations for PS3 for $9.99 at that time.
What I like about it is the fact that it's both 3D and 2D Sonic, as they're like two people.
Yeah, they're different, right? Yeah, one has longer legs. The later Sonic.
Yeah, one's short and fat. Yeah. But on top of that, they take those classic levels of each and then make them both so that each one can play it. So for instance, we are all familiar with Sonic Adventure and Running from the Whale.
Of course.
Now they do a 2D version of that for the short Fat Sonic.
Nice.
And that's what I mean, is that they do a remix of every level for everybody. So you could play like the Escape from the City where you're running from the truck. They do a 2D version where you're platforming, and in the background the truck keeps coming after you, back and forth, smashing the platforms.
Oh, nice.
So it's a really cool little mix of that. Super Monkey Ball,
the new one, yeah. Was it
Banana Brawl?
Is it Mania, or no? Was Mania already? Because there was Banana Blitz was the Wii one, but what was the re-release of 1 and 2, the GameCube one, which actually have 2 going back there?
That's Banana Rumble.
Banana Rumble's the new one, right? And that's coming out in a couple weeks, right? Like, it's the 25th, I think, of June.
Yes.
Like it's right around the corner.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm real excited about that one. I mean, I saw there's a rewind, which is pretty awesome. Like that'll really help for those single player levels. You know, like if you get knocked off, you can get pulled back. But did you get to play it?
Yes, I did. Fully fleshed out, voice acted story. There is a monkey that is the main character's son from the future.
Okay. Well, I think they kind of did that before,
So
right?
it's like Trunks.
Didn't the baby become from the future in the Wii one?
Yes.
Because somebody had
He's
like
back.
the Geordie LaForge goggles on there, or had like the sort of Cyclops looking thing.
But now it's an LED screen.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
So he's back.
There was some sort of future thing going on with that which I didn't really follow the lore, but is it like the cutscenes of you remember Monkey Ball 2 on GameCube, right? Like how great those cutscenes are, aside from the rapiness from Dr. Bad Boon, like he was real creepy towards Mimi.
Yeah, they've kind of rectified that.
Yeah. But is it like that kind of level? Because when we got the re-release of 1 and 2 on Switch, they kind of nerfed those cutscenes. They were not as cool as they were on GameCube.
No, you definitely get this level. You get that level of cutscene. It's a pretty good like 1.5 to 2 minutes of conversation between monkeys.
Nice. Yeah, no, I was pretty pumped on that one, and I saw it was getting the previews for what I was seeing have been pretty positive, and I mean I bought all the other Monkey Balls, but I just want one to be good. And the remake of 1 and 2 was okay, but it wasn't like where the GameCube one was. You know, it wasn't quite there.
This one they did kind of keep pushing like the multiplayer, and that is not where it's at for me.
Yeah, the online stuff, like because they kind of have their own sort of, because there's like a racing mode and some other stuff, right?
Yeah, there's a banana like grab, get as many bananas as possible, and get as many gates as possible, almost like I want to say almost like a capture the flag situation. But like they also kept saying 15 players, and I'm like, okay, I guess. And they put you on the racetrack, and it's a tiny racetrack with no barriers.
Yeah.
And just 15 people shoving 7 people off of it. And I'm just like, this feels frustrating to me because I'm just constantly getting knocked around. I was like, could I please play the campaign? They're like, sure. And I was like, this is what I'm in. This is what I was here for. I'm in for these little puzzles, bite-sized levels. Let's go.
Yeah, I kind of forgot there was a multiplayer aspect to it because I'm been more interested in the single player stuff, obviously.
Yeah, so that's where it's at for me. But they definitely are trying to push the multiplayer as a thing now.
Sure, yeah.
Let's see what else. A lot of cozy games. Critter Cafe, where you're saving little mystical critters, and then you bring them and making like a cafe of like cat cafe. And that was pretty fun. Arranger. Have you guys heard of Arranger?
Oh yeah, we've seen that in a couple directs. The one where with the conveyor belt, where you move them, where you
it's almost like a Rubik's cube, where like you move the whole floor. But the funnier part is that no one else does that. It's just your character, Gemma.
Yeah, right. And you're the only one that moves it, but you can push people off like kind of as you shift them around. I was kind of intrigued by that one.
They react. Like you knock people off of ladders and stuff, and they're like, why do you keep doing this? Why do you keep like knocking us over? And like it's kind of everybody. They kind of keep calling her like chaotic because wherever she goes, like everything's a mess, and that's kind of the fun of it. And she's got this is kind of like a power that she doesn't understand. And I got to play the first 30 minutes, and it was very fun. It had a really good like a time to frustration where I was like I'm starting to get a little frustrated. Oh, figured it out. Okay, you know what? It's kind of brilliant. That loop had a pretty good. It was pretty good for me. Like I felt like I would like right before I'd get a little frustrated. It would just like click, and then I would get it. And okay, now I'm not frustrated at all. In fact, I feel very smart. So it had a really good sense of that and timing. And then the music is just beautiful. The music is very well orchestrated. I asked the composer was there, and I asked him if he was going to put it on Spotify. And he says yes, very much so.
That's good. I mean, I feel like there's not enough people. They don't put enough video game soundtracks on available for purchase or whatever. Like I always like to I like to get them if I can, and they should all be out there. Like put it out there. People like me want to pay you money for it, so let us.
Again, a lot of it's on Spotify now. At least a good chunk of it.
Well, put it on Spotify, but also I like to support the composers and throw them some bucks through Bandcamp or whatever. Most of the time, if it's on Spotify, you can also purchase it.
I think it's also like they said that it will be on Steam. Like if you buy it that way, you could get the soundtrack digitally. So I mean that's another option. But now I liked Arranger a lot. That was a big one for me. So you guys had heard about the Blumhouse getting into video games?
Like a little bit. I didn't honestly. I heard about it, but I didn't kind of put it together that it was the horror movie company. Had either of you heard about that? No.
So the horror movie company. This is the story for you. They decided they wanted to get into video games, and instead of making a video game, they went and found a bunch of indie video horror games, and said we would like to give you money and give you as much time as you need to make that game better, and then said here's a check and walked away.
That's cool.
Yeah, and so the first of the offerings, it's a game called Fear the Spotlight. It was out on Steam for like a month, and then Blumhouse came up to and it's a married couple team, and that's all it is, just a married couple. And they were like, oh, Blumhouse wants to talk to us, and then said like, here's money, we want your game, please make it better if you want. And they said okay, so they took it off of Steam, made it better, like put an extra hour of content, then and they're going to re-release it in a month.
I think I saw. I think I saw something online for that. Maybe it was just a list of games that could potentially come to Switch and all that. I think I saw it on there. And it's actually going to be everywhere. Okay. Yeah.
And it's PlayStation 1 graphics, very Silent Hill, Resident Evil, but no combat, just like exploring and like real spooky vibes about two girls who hold a seance with a Ouija board and get weird in a library. And from there, things get real spooky. So that I really liked it when I played of it. And they said it's probably a couple hours.
Does the spotlight have anything to do with it? Like, is it like trying to stay out of the light or like in the darkness? Or is that just a name for just part of the name?
Some of the enemies end up being like if you remember Silent Hill Pyramid Head, some of the enemies are spotlight heads.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was curious. Well, when I hear Fear the Spotlight, I remember it reminds me of that, like, I don't know, they had some WiiWare games that were like that. Was it LIT, the one where like you have to break windows to make like little bright areas? And there was another one that was where you had to like stay in the shadow, and it made me think of like that type of thing.
Yeah, very much. Yeah, exactly.
Did you get to see like any of the Day of the Dev stuff? Like, was that? I mean, because that's part of Summer Game Fest, right?
It is.
The Schaefer thing.
I didn't actually get the opportunity to. I was pretty swamped.
Yeah, I haven't. I've honestly, I haven't watched any of. I haven't seen any of Summer Game Fest or any of Day of the Devs or anything like that. I kind of overswamped myself with shit for this show and other shows or whatever, where I just really didn't have time to watch anything else.
Yeah, I was actually trying to pull up a list because I was curious because they did have a section of Day of the Dev stuff, but I didn't get a chance to check it out.
Because that's always my favorite thing, like, was, seeing their stuff. Because I thought it was, because it's like a Double Fine, like Tim Schafer, like they always normally puts together some pretty good indie stuff for that.
I ran into him.
Oh, nice.
Oh, cool.
Like
physically.
Like intentionally? Like you like...
you
you
actually ran into him.
You checked him into the wall?
I wasn't paying attention, and I smacked into him, and then he's like, oh, I'm sorry. And I'm like, oh, no, it's completely me. And then I walk away, and I'm like,
hi.
That's Tim Schafer. I'm an ass.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you don't know. I mean, I'm sure
you should have been like, sorry, I was just clicking everything to see what I could interact with.
Yeah. There you go. Oh, see, that'd have been good.
Nice.
Yeah. Keep your tentacles off me.
Yeah. Other one I was going to say is Sky of Tides. Is a game very akin to a lighter more upbeat Disco Elysium.
Oh, okay.
But they're trying to do like a full multimedia presentation of that if you get the best ending, they have a 5-episode animated series that goes along with the game that you just played. So it's like 90 minutes of like content of video built into the game, and it fully voice acted too.
Is it all like political then, like the other one, the one you just said,
Disco Elysium? No,
Yeah,
it's
Elysium.
not. It's not really as political. It's actually funnier. They call it the anti-RPG because usually when you play some of these games, you like pick a side and you kind of stick with it. And here the goal is to actually kind of keep in the middle. So you have like all the stats and you're trying to like kind of stay in the middle of all of it because your character is trying to keep the planet together as everyone's just like warring all the time. So you have to kind of try to keep in the middle to make everyone feel like they can trust you. And that's actually the point. And so it's very weird in that way of trying to be, well, not political, but what is it?
Neutral.
got to
Neutral,
keep the peace, right? You got
It reminds me of like that.
Make everybody happy.
that,
Public relations.
There's
whatever.
that clip from Futurama of the neutral planet, and for the longest time on YouTube, it had exactly as many likes and dislikes before they got rid of that on YouTube. And that was like an internet legend for a while.
If I don't make it, tell my wife hello. That's right. That's it. 'Cause it's all
And no,
neutral.
diplomatic was the word I was thinking also,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's very similar, being very neutral. So that Sky of Tides looked pretty interesting to me just from that mindset that, oh, okay, you can really like try to be in the middle and and there's like 35 different endings. And at the end of the day, you get all these like extra, like just, oh, I'm going to watch a movie now. So it was pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm curious about that. I don't know. I have Disco Elysium. I barely played it. I was actually kind of really confused by it when I tried to play it. I thought that I died, and I guess my character just passed out or something, and that was about all I played.
Yeah.
But it was pretty dense, I guess.
He's a severe alcoholic.
Yes,
Yeah.
he is.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't know. But it was
Part
even
of the
it wasn't
the
even
big thrust
involving
of the
drinking.
story-
He was like he read like a piece of paper and passed out after he read it, and I was like, "What is?"
Oh
happening
yeah,
with this
because
game?
that's like a stat thing that you had
Yeah.
done something wrong in your stats, and all of a sudden he was like, "Oh, I can't do it."
Yeah, I thought I got a game over, and I was like, "All right, well, I ended this game." But
Yep.
I guess
I ended up like getting killed by some guy that was some sort of political revolutionary guy. I had the wrong conversation, and he just like straight murdered me.
Oh yeah,
That was my first game over I got.
I somehow roundhouse kicked him.
Oh yeah, because I thought you couldn't. I thought there was no like. I thought there was no like physical contact in it, or like no fighting or whatever per se.
No, that's not. I mean, it's again, you get to a point in a conversation where something has to happen.
Mm-hmm. You
Yeah.
can say click X to or whatever A to roundhouse kick.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's like a presentation, right? Did you like sit in the theater and watch? Like I don't know how does it work there? Is it just like a big just area where you go to?
So
stuff?
the actual big presentation was at the YouTube theater, which is really far away.
Oh, okay. So no, you weren't there for that.
No, I was.
Yeah.
It was just a very expensive Uber, both there and back. But I was there. I got off a plane and directly from LAX directly to the YouTube theater. I was like 10 minutes late, but I got to see all the announcements.
they still let you in.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it makes sense because the show was pretty expensive, from what I heard. Right? You got to pay like what $300,000 to get a 2-minute ad in there or something like that, or was it like
that was the
500,000?
conversation I had heard? And
That's
there was
insane.
a YouTube team that were slowly ranking up the money, like to count it all out.
Well, I saw I saw that on multiple news sites being like, this is how much it costs to be on Summer Game Fest, and I'm like,
But there's like
What the
smaller
fuck?
indies that had a different rate, I think is what it was.
But I'm saying is that somebody was like seeing how long the game trailers were and totaling that up.
Oh,
oh,
okay.
the amount of money. Yeah, it's like
Yeah,
what
so
is this, a fucking Super Bowl?
So they were just like,
I
look how
mean-
much Keeley's making now. Yeah, so I saw the big stuff. I got to see some cool people like on the stage. I wasn't pretty far, and it was nice. It was a nice arena. And then that's pretty much it for Friday. But Saturday and Sunday are the big campus days where you had appointments booked, and you would go sit down, and either there would be, for the smaller games, they would put you on a couch, hand you headphones and a controller, and say, okay, here you go. We're gonna go over all of the features or just play. And then you go over all that for like 30 minutes and then you say thank you. And then you move on to the next thing.
Wow.
Yep. So I was doing that from I was staying at a hostel from 9:30 to 5:30 roughly every day. And the whole time I'm taking notes because I have to write all this up later.
Yeah.
And then there's like a bunch of other after hours activities.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
How was the hostel? Was it okay?
It was weird. The reason why
My partner stayed at like hostels like when she traveled through Europe and stuff. I've never stayed at one.
we stayed in a hostel when we were in Japan. That was where we stayed.
I've
And
also stayed in a
it was
hostel.
fine. I mean, it wasn't like I guess there were parts that were more hot. Like we didn't have to like share a bathroom with anybody or anything weird like that. It was kind of more like an Airbnb, but there were parts of it that were more what I understand hostel like or whatever. I don't know.
Well, I stayed in a hostel in Thailand, Japan. Where did we stay in a hostel? Yes, we had. I stayed at a hostel in a different country, and that was a fine experience. But there was, in this one, it was strange because it was kind of like a fever dream. I would go to bed at 2:30, and there would be 3 people in the bed in bunk beds. There were bunk beds, 2 sets of bunk beds.
Like in the
There
same
would be
room?
3. Yes.
So you had to share a room.
Yep. I was in the bottom.
That's like when I think of a hostel, that's what I think of.
Yeah, there were parts of the Airbnb we're at. There were rooms where they were out in the open, and there were a whole bunch of people sleeping together. But I guess we didn't do that. Obviously, we had our own room because I'm not doing that shit. But I mean, yeah.
So in this case, there were 3 people plus me. So I go to bed. I wake up. There's 2 people now, but I don't think they're the same people that were there when I went to sleep.
They're just taking naps, just short naps,
And then
switching.
and then I would leave. I'd come back. There would be only one person, but it'd be a new person. And then I'd go to sleep, and I'd wake up, and there'd be 3 people. Like they just kept like people just rotating out, and I never saw anybody or interacted with anybody. They were always asleep.
Wow.
So I don't know who was what or where.
It's like a Doctor Who
weird.
episode or something there.
Yeah, and so I just kind of kept doing.
It's like the traffic planet, where you never go anywhere.
Well,
Were you
your
ever
stuff was
working
still there
in a
when you woke
hostel?
up. That's an important thing.
Nobody took any of your stuff. Is that what
No,
you're saying?
but I was working in the hostel. I would come back probably for about an hour just to like get off my feet.
Yeah. I mean, it kind of
Compile your stuff.
sort of sounds like those, the hotels that you like nap at in Japan or whatever. Just like come back for a second and
The capsule hotels.
catch your breath and do your stuff and then go. That's why you didn't see the same people. Maybe they were rotating or whatever.
Yeah. So it was a pretty good experience. I like the kind of presentation of everything going on. Like I saw Devolver, they have a new game called Angerfoot.
That
I've
sounds
heard
fun.
of that game. Yep.
Yeah, and it looks pretty cool, but they had someone dressed as that character and someone dressed as Jacket from Hotline Miami, and they were just like fighting in the middle of the alley, which was like pretty wild.
good.
Is Angerfoot like a giant foot, or is it just a person that's like kicks a lot?
It's,
like what is
it's a
what
first
is
person
the
kicker?
It's a green dude with a ski mask, like a purple ski mask, and then cut off jeans that he like, and then he boots like doors down.
green and purple is my favorite color scheme. So there. So
That sounds
you've
a little
been to-
hokey to me.
You've been to E3 before, haven't you?
Constructicons, the Transformers, is where it started.
Alex,
What,
you've,
E3?
you've been to E3 before, haven't you?
I have not.
You know,
No,
okay.
I've only been to.
I was
Summer Game
just
Fest.
wondering how does it compare being there in person? But I guess
I'm guessing it's probably close, right?
I was told that. Okay, so E3 at the ending
Mhm.
was a consumer facing product, right?
Yeah.
more so, yeah.
When Summer Game Fest happened, they cut that out. So this year, IGN took that over.
Yeah, did you
And-
get to go to IGN Live also, or just Summer Game Fest?
I had somehow finagled myself on a list.
Nice.
That's
And-
awesome.
Yeah, so I got to go. I just walked into IGN Live, and I lasted 45 minutes.
Was
it-
it? Oh, yeah,
was
because
rough.
that's more like open to the public, right? And there's a lot of like fans and stuff there, and
That's not the problem. It's that it was like a casino, in that there's no windows and it's jet black except for bright blue fluorescent lights that are sometimes strobing in your face.
Oh,
And
yeah.
there's just speakers blasting music at you all the time.
Oh God, yeah, that sounds like a rough time.
And then
you kind of just lay down and just shake, like like pull me out of here.
And it was like 5 rooms and then 2, like a second floor with a bunch of other rooms. And like they would have like, oh, here's old school arcades, or also here's some games that aren't at they're technically at Summer Game Fest, but we just have them here for you to play. And so they had a couple games there as well. But there was one just big room that was them throwing swag into the crowd. And from my understanding, because I asked a couple other journalists, it was nonstop. It was nonstop, just throwing anime figures into the crowd.
I was like, is it a t-shirt gun with unlimited ammo? Pretty much. Just like
it was t-shirts. It was socks. It's Switch games. It was
waifu pillows.
Yeah, and also anime figures in giant boxes. They're just whipping them at people. And I was there for 45 minutes. I was there for 45 minutes, and it didn't stop. People just rotated out. IGN people just started rotating out because they were tired.
Yeah. It's like
I saw them like throwing like empty cardboard boxes in a back room.
It's like baseball. You got to rotate the pitchers out, right? Because your arms will get tired, right, from throwing things.
But imagine the madhouse. Like it was just screaming, and them going, "Who wants some swag? Who? Oh, let's hype it up. Let's do it again." I'm like, it's been 45 minutes, and I would talk to somebody, and they're like, "Oh no, that's ongoing." So I mean, I get it. What I think is
24-hour swag fest.
Yeah, if you're a consumer, you're getting free stuff.
I mean, if you made it there,
if you're patient,
you're probably if you wait long enough, somebody's going to chuck something at your face.
You're going to get something chucked at your face, and that's good. That's fine. And you got the
please abuse me with things for free.
You're going to scratch your cornea with some giant anime figure.
Yep, you're going to love it. And you got to play some games. They had like you could watch the presentations of Summer Game Fest in a little theater, but it sold like that. You had to buy tickets separate, and that was like a selling out product. Like people couldn't watch the stream because it was too many people. So that was kind of wild. And yeah, after about 45 minutes, I said, I have to leave. I either need to call a loved one. I got to call a loved one, or I need to see sunshine. So I left.
I mean, were there other people there from Nintendo World Report, or did you have anybody to like talk to, or like I don't know. I mean, like people that you know. I mean, is there anybody you can call and be like, hey, let's get a drink or something? I need to unload on this. Or maybe I guess you could just go to the bar and you'll probably find somebody else who's dealing with some shit there too.
Oh, well, that's the thing, is that the journalistic community is just really tight knit, that if you're there at Summer Game Fest, you automatically have someone to talk to.
I was going to say, I know Janet's there. You know her. You can call her up and be like, hey, where you at? I said, I know I think Janet was there at Summer Game Fest.
Oh, no, a bunch. Me and her were hanging out a bunch.
Yeah.
No, I met her fiance. He's a great guy.
Cool. You got to hang out with Janet. That's awesome.
Oh yeah, no, I've hung out with her a bunch now. She's like one of the friendliest people, but that's how it is for everybody there. You walk up to someone and say, "Hey, my name is blank," and they say, "Oh, cool," and then they tell you their name, and then you say, "Who are you with?" And then, "Oh, I'm with GameSpot." "Oh, cool." "Oh, I'm with AGN." "Oh, that's cool." "Oh, I'm with whatever, the Polygon or something else."
I'm with PragerU.
I mean, I've heard some I heard some stuff.
I was saying that
like, "Oh, I'm with Nerd Outrage." I'm like, "Oh, that's okay."
Look, what's that?
Cool. Yeah, I mean, it's a website, I guess.
I'm here with True Social. What's up? No, I don't know.
When I was at the YouTube theater, I was sitting next to someone who was actively writing into for Variety.
Oh yeah,
and I was like, "Oh, Variety, huh?" And she's like, "Yep." Like, okay.
I'll say that sounds like any regular LA club. You know, it's like
I like how eclectic their source material.
It's like, what are you with? What show are you on? Oh, I won't talk to you because you're not on anything.
But here, everyone is on everything, so it was very cool.
People are probably friendlier there than most LA
yeah, the one thing is that there is like a gaming, like red carpet, a little bit like journalists like that.
Yeah,
like, oh, you are big and you don't really want to talk to anybody. And it's like, oh, okay. Like if they walk into Summer Game Fest, they have an entourage of 7 people, and those 7 people try to keep everybody away. And also, they don't really wait in line or do appointments. They just like get walked into to see the game, and then they walk away.
Yeah, that was probably weird to see too.
It was weird. I mean, it was interesting for the most part, but also like, I mean, I at least got to say hi to some of them, but at the other point, I was just like, weird, huh? Like there are still popular kids. It's like not many. I saw there's probably like five. There's like 5 popular kids, but they exist.
Yeah, it's still like those guys don't gotta wait.
Yeah, like the popular kids, you look at them and you're like, oh, you're doing games for CBS, like on the news. Okay, yeah, fair.
Those are the popular kids. I figured they'd put them to the side, that because most TV news is bullshit now. So I mean, but they nobody takes them and pays attention to them.
They left IGN.
I'm sure the game companies are like, we got to get this gigantic coverage. So like,
and they left IGN because they were too big. You know what I mean? Like, oh, you outgrew. Got it. So it was pretty cool. And yeah, I just always had someone. I always had like, in fact, I was talking to somebody. They told me about IGM Live, and I said that sounds like a nightmare. And he goes, "Yeah, you should go. You want to be on the list?" And I'm like, yes. "I guess you know somebody." He's like, "Hold on." He texts somebody, and then he goes, "Yep, you're on the list now." I was like, "Oh, you know somebody?" He's like, "Yeah, it's fine." I'm like, oh, okay.
Just text somebody and be like, "Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, and I can imagine it.
Throw objects at this person's head."
Yeah,
I figured it's just like it's a real clusterfuck.
But I think the coolest thing was I got to meet Sam Lake.
Yeah, to me who?
Sam Lake is Max Payne.
Oh, Max.
Oh,
the voice of Max Payne.
Yeah,
or
and
the writer.
He is the. I believe the title is he is director at Remedy.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know much about Max Payne.
Oh yeah, but he's the Alan Wake. He is the character. There's an Alan Wake 2. There's a Max Payne version of in there, and he's there. He's in a bunch of stuff, but also he's like the director of Remedy and Control, right? So that was kind of cool. Apparently he just hangs out. Like he's not there doing too much. He just wants to hang out. And like I saw him and I was like, Sam Lake, and he goes, "Yep, that's me." And I was like, "You want to talk about David Bowie?" And he goes, "Yes, I do. Let's talk about David Bowie."
Nice.
So Aladdin Sane, best era, right?
He was talking about how wild it was that Black Sun came out and then Bowie just died.
Oh yeah, no, that
like,
album's
he knew
so dark.
I'd wanted to talk to him about what his character was up to in Firewalk with Me, because we don't really know still, like what was going on with David Bowie in Twin Peaks.
Oh yeah,
I know it's been. I think last time we talked to you on the show, you were on a Twin Peaks journey. Did you make it all the way through, Alex? Did you make it?
I did not yet. I'm not yet.
Okay.
I'm like halfway through the original series still.
Oh, okay.
Well, I know David Bowie was afraid of Americans, so you probably couldn't got much out of him.
Yeah, well, David Bowie didn't. Well, he was part of the movie, but he was still part of the season 3 also, which I thought was pretty cool, even though he had passed like a while before. I felt like David Lynch did everything he could to bring everybody into the show, whether they were alive or dead, like in like the in the season 3. So yeah, I thought that was pretty cool, including David Bowie, who like walks through time at one point in the movie, in the Firewalk with Me movie. His character's pretty ridiculous, but yeah.
But yeah, no, overall it was a very good trip. I want to talk about more stuff, but that's the kind of the dumb thing is that they give you these hands-on and they're like, oh, by the way, you can't talk about this for like a month.
Oh, so you got some? Yeah, no, I figured you do. Yeah, right. Where it's like, all right, NDA, whatever. Do you have to sign stuff for that, or they just ask you not to?
It's a little bit of both. There's like official emails, but then also like some of the bigger names are like, you have to sign this as 6 pages. It's like, oh, shoot.
Damn.
Okay. Yeah. Gotcha.
So maybe you saw something that would show up in the Nintendo Direct next week?
Yes.
Next week confirmed.
I'm hoping.
Next week confirmed. We heard it straight.
All right, next week confirmed.
There we go.
Well, no, no, but that's what the internet is saying right now because of the leak from what was it? The one game. What's it called? Pushover? What's that one game called with the little guys with the masks? The kids liked that was like $5.
Among Us.
Among Us. Yeah, there was an Among Us leak that where the Nintendo Direct is actually supposed to happen next week is what everybody's saying because of that.
Yeah, I mean that makes sense. They've done that before.
I mean they don't have much left of June, so it's either next week or the week after, right? Before June is gone. So I mean I put my money on next week, which I don't remember who predicted that. I predicted last week I think, but
I predicted the closer to the end of the month.
I think John said June 18th probably.
Yeah.
So you were probably right on that one.
But yeah, no, it's more like I played some other things for Nintendo. That's all it is.
Cool.
Yeah. So, but I mean, overall, it was very fun. It was. I always like using that time to just see what other people do. Like in the instance of like, Like I met somebody who's the anime gamer for IGN, and I was just like, "Oh, is that really what you just play all the anime games?" She's like, "Yep, that's what I do." I'm like, "Oh, there's just an anime person."
Did you get to see any of the like NVC people? Like, I mean, I would, if I was there, I would want to mostly just hunt down the Axe of the Blood God people. Did you like? I'd want to find like Cat Bailey and I think Eric was there too. But for some,
Wait,
for
did
Summer
I do
Game
what?
Fest.
Did I find who?
Oh, I mean, people from podcasts. Like, did you see any of like the NVC, the Nintendo voice chat people, like Cat Bailey or Logan Plant or Seth Macy or in any of them?
No, I did not see them. I saw a bunch of the Friends Per Second podcast people. I mean, let's see here. There's a comedy podcast called If You're Driving, Close Your Eyes. I met all of those people. They were lovely people. I'm trying to think. I was at the Giant Bomb show for a lot of it, which included most of Kind of Funny.
Oh yeah, you were there. You were there last year too, right? I think I saw you posting pictures of being at the Giant Bomb thing.
It's just that's where the industry goes.
Mm-hmm.
There's like only like a couple of events, and that's where everyone kind of goes. Is that kind of green room hangout? But like Kind of Funny was pretty good. Those guys are wild.
Yeah.
Oh, also Brian Altano.
Yeah, he's from
Max
IGN.
Scoville.
I know that guy.
Yeah, both of them. They are giant. Like I went up to Max Scoville and I'm like, "You are a giant bastard." He's like, "That's what my wife tells me."
Oh, like they're really tall in real life.
Oh yeah, they're like 6'5".
It made it sound like they're like getting carried around on thrones or something like that. That's kind of the way you were building it up earlier about the big internet people. It's like I figured.
Oh,
yeah,
well,
No, they
Brian
really don't know
Altano-
who their fathers are.
Brian Meltano and Max Scoville are definitely like
they have
show up.
like
only when
four
they
people
want to.
carrying them with sticks or whatever like around, so they don't have to walk.
They definitely only show up when they want to. But at the same time, I talked to them a bit, and they're just like 6'5", like all of them. Greg Miller is like 6'6" or something
Oh,
ridiculous.
they're all giant.
That's why John should work for IGN.
No, the same. We need to bring
Put that in the
John.
application.
We need to bring John there because you can take him. I think you're taller than all of them. They're all liars. They're not that tall.
Yeah,
I know I'm taller than Greg Miller. I've seen him before.
Yeah.
yeah. So that was the one. That was my takeaway there. They were just all like giants. Yeah, it was a good show. It was a good show. I don't know if it was the best because I didn't like. It was very few titles that I was like super into.
Yeah, that's where I was kind of wondering, like, since you're there for Nintendo World Report, it's like, how much of Nintendo is there? Because Nintendo's, we're at the end of the Switch, waiting for Switch 2 to get announced or whatever, and it's kind of like, what would you actually see from there? But I mean, obviously, you saw a lot of stuff still, like a lot of indies.
Yeah, it was a lot of indies. I will tell you that there was a conversation with Nintendo World Report. They're like, I don't know how much is actually going to be helpful there because they're not doing stuff because it's the Switch 2.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, I can see that. I can see that.
I mean, still got the Sega stuff. Was there any like Shin Megami Tensei 5 stuff there? Probably not, right? Because that's coming out this week. The new one.
No, it was that new one. That Fantismo or whatever.
Oh yeah. Fuck, I was just listening
Hold on,
the Persona one, right? It's called like Fantasia or something like
Metaphor
yeah,
Refantasio.
Yeah, Refantasio, yeah, that one was there.
That was there.
Did you get to play that, or did you look at it?
I didn't get a chance to play it, but I was watching somebody that I'd met play it for like 30 minutes.
What do you think? Cool. What do you think? I mean, you're a Persona person, right? Like you're kind of.
Oh no, it looks fantastic.
Yeah,
it's stylish as hell. It's really good.
I think it's. I mean, there's been rumors around there that there's going to be a big like presence from Atlas on Switch 2. Like you see a lot of rumors around for it. I'm thinking that one's probably going to show up on Switch 2. I've seen people say that like Persona 6 will be on Switch 2 or whatever, even though we don't even know anything about that or whatever. It would make sense like to see those games on there just because of how popular it is in Japan and all that.
Yeah, I think that the other ones for me would be like they had said. I think that there was rumor of like a remake of Persona 4 or a re-release of Persona 2, the two-parter. So like there is a conversation around what they could do or what they could bring. Like again, re-releasing 2 would be great.
They should do 1 and 2 because those games are a mess. Like I bought Persona 1 for the PSP, and oh my god, that game is bad. It's not good at all. Try to rework that because I bought it and I was like, I'm so confused. Like because I heard like Persona being popular, and I was like, I'll start from the beginning, and I got Persona 1. It was. It was not.
That's not the starting point.
And it only has like one song, like for the whole thing, that you just hear over and over and over again. It's kind of like Suika Game, way before that. But it's like, and most of the songs are amazing on Persona, but this song was like, oh my god, I hate this song so much. Like, why do we have to keep hearing this song over and over and over again? So yeah, I was really disappointed by that first one.
The other ones that I saw that aren't Nintendo based were things like Hyper Light Breaker. Which was very surprising to me what that game is.
Does that have anything to do with Hyper Light Drifter or no?
It just
sounds like it. Okay. But it's not Nintendo? But that's like...
Yeah.
What's it? It's the company, the Hades company, right? What is the...
No.
Super... No, it's not Supergiant or whatever?
No.
Because wasn't Hyper Light Drifter Supergiant?
No.
Oh, okay.
I want to say it was Heart Machine. Developer is... Heart Machine.
Okay.
Heart Machine.
Maybe I think I'm confusing it with another game.
Yeah. It was very Zelda-like, the original, and now the new one is like Risk of Rain.
Okay. I played Hyper Light Drifter, but the new one is not Switch bound as of right now.
Yes.
Okay.
Because it's more like 3D Risk of Rain.
Oh, okay.
And it's very different. I was very surprised by that. Let's see if there's anything else here. Oh, there was a bunch of things here that I played the Amazon MMO. That was okay.
I don't know what that is.
Oh yeah. Oh no, here.
Like Amazon the company, or it takes place in the Amazon?
Amazon the company. Let's talk about this. I want to tell you guys about a game called The Loft.
Okay.
They might bring this to Switch. They said that they're working on it, but they were going to release it on Steam first.
Sure.
It is a survival game. It's a survival game like Subnautica. Did you guys play Subnautica?
Okay. Yes,
we just talked. We just did a Patreon episode about summer and water games, so we just talked about Subnautica a couple days ago. So yeah,
sick.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I love. Yeah, we both talked about how we wanted to finish it. We never did, but loved it.
Now imagine that, but you're on a floating island with amnesia, and you have to figure out how to get off the island, or even just where you're at and how this happened. But the floating islands there's hundreds of them surrounding a giant vortex, like a giant storm. And you're doing the survival thing where you're like finding a rock and finding wood, and you put them together. Now you have an X, et cetera, et cetera. But at a certain point, like pretty early on, you get a wingsuit. And then you fly to the next sky island, and from there you like there's these corruption enemies, and you kill them and you fight them off, and then you don't really fight, you just like do something to like get rid of them. Then it's like we need to rebuild this island to make it habitable, so we need some plant life, so you have to go find seeds, and you plant the seeds, and you got to bring like a goat over or something that has animal life. And you have to like build a little lake, and then now it's like, you use restored nature, and then you do it again, and you do this a lot. And at a certain point, you build a sail, and you put it on the island, and you put a wheel, and then you fly the island.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh, cool.
You can move the island. Yeah.
Yes. And
nice.
There's hundreds of islands, and so you can like build a house and of course like make it all beautiful, but then it's like, or also let's sort of keep going and exploring more islands, because then you start getting more like history and lore of what happened and who you are, et cetera, et cetera. Or you
can move all the islands together?
Yes.
And make like a giant.
And
make a giant island.
And it's multiplayer.
Oh, you can put your islands with other people's islands. You can all have a
yes, and the developers
have a commune
like,
or whatever.
Yeah, the developers like, yes, you could all be together, and I was like, can I fly it into stuff? And they go, well, I mean, sure, but that's not what we want you to do. And I was like,
people will though.
Can I fly it into
absolutely.
people? Can I fly it into people? And he's like, no.
Can I grief my entire island to someone else's island?
That's what I was asking. And he just kept going like, he got more and more uncomfortable as the conversation went on.
I mean, I'm saying people are gonna though.
They're like, we were hoping people wouldn't think of that.
Yeah.
We don't like that you're mentioning that.
I was like, can you get cannons? And he's like, not this type of game. And I was like, oh, but I want it so bad.
The one
This game's
island
awesome.
battle.
Yeah, and I just want to have a warship that'll destroy my friends. But
You basically
a
want
lot-
to turn into like the Borg.
yeah, exactly.
Consume everything.
But Aloft was for me a very good one that I was like, oh, this is I was like, I got like a card, and I was like, okay, let's get some Aloft going, huh? Maybe
Oh, you have a
nice.
card.
yeah. So
Oh,
let's play Aloft.
Oh, so you get? Oh, is that like a review code in card form? Or?
No, I wish this is just like
Let's
their
say because that
info.
QR code is scannable.
Yeah, but it takes you to like the website.
It's like I'm gonna get
Oh,
it.
too bad.
I'm gonna get it
Yeah,
now.
I wish.
Get it.
I wish.
I mean, you probably didn't have much downtime while you were there, but I mean, what have you been playing? Did you get to play any Switch games in at your hostel or whatever when you weren't trying to bug the other random people that were there?
No, but I got to play. I was playing some games for review. I played Pepper Grinder.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
that's
really
cool.
I really want to play that game.
Yeah.
I didn't get around to
I like
getting
the
it, but
demo a lot.
I heard people really like it. Yeah, and I didn't get to play the demo, but it's gotten a lot of praise. So
What's fun is that it's a lot of like, you're going in the ground and you're like jumping out like a dolphin, and they built puzzles around it. But then you get like grappling hooks and drills, and at one point at one point you just put your drill into a mech, and you're just now piloting a mech.
nice.
Oh, cool.
So
So it's kind of like a key that you can use for something.
Yeah.
Or for a mech. Oh, yeah.
and like that's how you like at the end it's like a Mario flag. You put the drill into like a flagpole and that raises the flag up.
Because it's not quite like Drill Dozer, but I liked it. It reminded me of Drill Dozer, which I do enjoy a lot. Which is like a Game Boy Advance game.
Yeah, exactly. And it's very fun. It's had a lot of like personality. It's very funny.
For sure. And I think I saw in the notes here, you mentioned this when you were at our party, Hauntii. You did a
Yeah.
review for that too?
I did. I still gotta go up, but I played Hauntii. It's a very surprising game.
In what way?
It is a smaller like scale Mario Odyssey. You are collecting star bits, like stars, and they just give you kind of these connected maps. So like it's a very small condensed map, and all of a sudden you'll see a bulge in the ground, like a little hill, and you're a ghost that can take control of people. You shoot them until you take over their bodies. So you'll find an enemy that's bouncing up and down, does a butt slam. I'm gonna take control over him. There's that mound in the ground. I butt slam the ground. All of a sudden, I have a star. Like, oh, cool. I didn't expect that. I was just kind of messing around, and that's kind of how these little maps are. There's like a bunch of just hidden different little stars, and you collect them. You make a constellation. This constellation takes 5 stars. This constellation takes 6 stars, and as you do, you get level up things. Like you can get more health, get more juice for taking control of things, so you can do it faster, et cetera, et cetera. And that, like, it's very charming and cute, and it looks really good. The problem I had is that at a certain point they just stop. Like they say, okay, you need to complete this constellation to move forward, and it's like 2 constellations ahead of where you're at. So you have to collect now 15. Essentially, they're gating me by, oh, you got to collect 15 stars, which is, I guess, fine. Mario Odyssey did that to an extent, but I feel like the map Mario Odyssey is a big one single map, and Hauntii is 10 to 15 tiny maps, and they're not like, it's like a spider web of little maps. So it just felt like I would have to backtrack, and I would only backtrack one map back just so I can get as many stars as I could. But then it's like, no, I have to go back. I have to go to another map and another map. And at a certain point, I forgot how to where the gate was. And so after I backtracked, I have to just wander until I find the gate that lets me move forward again. And that was kind of annoying because there's like so many entrances and exits to every map, because again, it's like a spider web of just different connections. And it's a little load between each map. So it's not that big of a deal, but it's also a little annoying. But other than that, I mean, it was just surprising what it was, because I was playing it and it seemed like a very curated little, like in the beginning when I played it last year at Summer Game Fest, it was very like curated. You're going to go from point A to point B, and you're going to get a lot of story and a lot of cool cutscenes. And here they do that, and then it's no more. It's just keep doing these map star missions and like or quests and like just keep going and keep unlocking until you beat the game. And for me, I was like, oh, okay, this is kind of annoying.
Seems kind of confusing. Or like, yeah. Like,
Yeah, I wanted a little bit more motivation to keep going, and I feel like they didn't really give it to me. And then they also just like the price I had to pay to move forward, like really kind of made it less fun. If it was like, oh, 1 or 2, that's easy. It's like, oh, it's like 10. Well, now I don't know if I even want to do it.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Because like when I started playing, I was going through a map or 2 maps, and I didn't really realize they were going to gate me like that. So I just was kind of messing around. And it's like, oh, I probably missed dozens of stars, and I should have just stopped. But no, I didn't realize that they were going to gate me.
Yeah. Yeah, that's always the worst when you're having a good time and it's just like you're not to the point yet and you're like, why not? Because you missed whatever. They didn't tell you well enough to get how to get there,
Yeah.
It's always annoying.
But that was Hauntii.
All right, well, if that's I was going to say if that's all that you've been playing and if that's enough for Summer Game Fest, why don't we take a break and then we'll come back and talk about other stuff.
Hey, you.
It's me, Mario.
Yeah, you. Subscribe to our Patreon to hear our bonus shows, which happen every month.
I'm tired.
Tired of all the big corporate podcasts spoon-feeding you the same old video game news on every single show?
Spaghetti. Ravioli.
Then expand!
With Nintendomain Expansion Pack.
It's us talking about old games that were important to us. It's us interviewing people that we meet at conventions. And heck, it's live shows from those same conventions. It's basically everything you could want that Nintendomain ever made.
Here we go!
And it's just $1 a month.
That's less than a bad indie on the eShop.
It's $12 a year, which is less than Nintendo Switch Online.
Thank you so much for subscribing to our Patreon and supporting Nintendomain.
Just go to patreon.com/Nintendomain podcast and hey, Mario, let go. Whoa! He's throwing us back to the show.
So long, Bowser.
Patreon.com/Nintendomain podcast.
Game over.
We're back from the break. I forgot to ask you earlier about the Summer Game Fest, but did you get to play any of the new Monster Hunter, like Monster Hunter Wilds or anything like that?
Yes, it wasn't playable by me. It was a Capcom executive, but
so you're watching someone play it.
Yes, and it was in fact live demo because he was taking requests and it crashed like 3 times.
Because I saw some people posting about gameplay
That's real life.
about Wilds like recently, and stuff. I was like, oh, it was there too.
Oh no,
All right.
Wild. That was the one I snuck into.
Yeah, okay.
Like we had to double check, but the embargo's up. Yeah, that was the one I stuck into.
Yeah.
I shouldn't have been there, and I will tell you, I was in there with Phil Spencer, and it was very cool.
Oh, the Xbox dude.
Yeah, Keeley and Spencer.
He's like, I wish I could fire everybody here for this game, whether it's good or not.
This game is amazing. Let's fire everyone.
Let's shut down this company.
Hey, he had a good exec answer as to why they had to fire those people.
Did he?
It was something that people were saying, like, well, it's most
some words.
I thought it was some real like let's go around it thing from what I heard. I don't know.
Well, it was some more
like let's not even talk about it. What about Perfect Dark? There's a new one of these. Look at it. There it is. Anybody care anymore? No.
Yeah.
What
People still like Purple Dark? People still like that?
I don't.
It's dark, but it's perfectly dark.
I don't know. I saw a couple.
What about
seconds.
that?
I saw a couple seconds of it, and I was like, well, I don't know. Maybe
looks like Mirror's Edge.
It's like put the Perfect Dark that was on 360 that I couldn't play. Put that on Switch, and I'd rather play that one. I guess. I don't know.
Honestly, Zero didn't get I don't know.
That's what I'm saying. Zero didn't review that well, but I'll still play it if they put it on.
I would play it as well. I would like it to be like sort of like a, pre-release sort of like bonus. But of course, they're not putting this game on. The new Perfect Dark is only going to be on Xbox, or also known as PC.
Let's say it's probably going to be on PC and probably PS5 too. They need whatever they can get, right? Seems like so they don't. Well, no, they're like
they're going to keep it. They're going to keep it exclusive away from PS5 as long as they can, because that's what they have to do, to maintain their autonomy, so to speak, within the game space. They can't have all these cross releases, but eventually it might.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm super skeptical of Microsoft just because they're very clearly trying to get out of the console.
They seem like they're kind of
that's very clear,
drowning themselves.
But wait, so let me tell you, Wilds it looks amazing. It looks fantastic. They're going back to the PlayStation Monster Hunter Wilds kind of look to it. They the grapple hook that you had in that game is back. They did not have that in Rise.
You mean Worlds?
Worlds, sorry. What did I say?
You just said that they were going back to Wilds, and I was like, I thought Wilds was the new one.
No.
But I did
Worlds.
I did the same thing where I said Worlds instead of Wilds. I mean, they're like one letter apart. It's it's the same thing,
So now they have the grapple hook. They have the slingshot on your wrist that you shoot at enemies. And now you can have two weapons. So you put them in the bag because they give you a reptile mount, like a little dinosaur mount.
Yeah, you have a dinosaur that you ride, right? Instead of the dog, the cool dog that you had.
Yes, and if they let me name it, it's named Yoshi.
It was a Palamute, right? It was the dog. Yeah. The Palamute was the dog, and Palico was the cat.
Cats.
Yeah.
You're right.
So the cats are back. The Palamutes are out. And
I like
the little dinosaur. Oh, I liked it. I love my Palamute. I named it after my pup and made it look like my.
I got the amiibo. Well, I mean, I called it Nukiu because it's a mixture of both our cats. So I put it on there.
Oh, nice. So whenever you get on your dinosaur, in his bag is a second weapon. So if you want to be a charge blade person, and then you also want to have a bow and arrow or double daggers, all you gotta do is call your mount, hop on it, and then press a button, and you put one in your bag and you pull out the other.
That sounds like some Dino Wars shit or something, right? You jump on your I'd jump on your dinosaur and you got a repeating blaster on there or something. You could do the heavy bow gun or whatever,
Yeah.
So it's rather than just be able to switch between weapon types on the fly, there's an extra step you have to take to do that.
Yes.
But it lets you have an auxiliary weapon type. That's pretty cool.
It is. And then they had just recently came out and said that they are they're filling the map with monsters just nonstop. So monsters will roam in packs now.
No.
Oh.
Yeah. So you have
big monsters.
Can you still ride them?
Yes, you can. In the demo, they did. But the main thing is that you will be. It's a quote unquote open world, meaning there'll be small towns in the world, but for the most part, you're just kind of going. And if you want a camp, there's an animation. You throw a thing down, and 3 cats, the what's the palicos, come
Yeah.
like coming down on parachutes, and they have like this. They each have like a piece of wood that when they stomp down, all of a sudden it pops up a huge tent. It was very adorable.
Mhm.
And
Nice.
then that's your camp where you can get all your stuff. And then it's right back to like, okay, now let's get going. Let's go out there and find monsters. And like you'll find a monster that has a pack of 3, and you only want one, and so you have to try to like shoo the rest of them off or get them to
Draw
chase
one
you.
away. Yeah.
And start to like do things like you can shoot at like cliffs and stuff too that'll make like like rocks fall down and knock them down, so they will no longer be at the pack. It'll just be the one.
So breaking down the pack and like picking one off is actually like a huge part of the gameplay, it sounds like.
Yes. And again, like always, like the monsters will just start fighting each other. And in this demo, there was a giant sandstorm, and it happened, and like the sandstorm hit you, and you're like in this sandstorm, and you see electricity on the ground, and all of a sudden lightning will strike. And when you're in the eye of the storm, everything's really calm, and it's really dark, but you can get out of the storm and you see the sunlight again. It's a back and forth, like really wild stuff was happening.
Hence the name.
Yeah.
So they're really pulling in like environmental hazards and
and then also being
just like
this monster
terraforming in a sense, yeah.
And this monster only comes out at night, and
okay,
life's the day-night cycles. There was a lot going on at once.
But I imagine you're still kind of doing the same thing where you've got like an overhead map where you're keeping track of where stuff is, and you like
exactly,
and like it's persistent. Like you go to different spots or whatever.
And now like there's also even more because they've been messing with verticality, so now there'll be layers of different stuff.
Oh boy.
Like you could end up in like a giant cavern, but then you could be up top on the mountains, and you keep going and keep fighting all the monsters that are everywhere apparently.
Oh.
But in the demo, he was showing us a lot of the features, like where you can use your weapon on your mount. So there's different stuff like that.
I'm still thinking of what Dino Wars, or it was something like Mask, where there was a 80s show where you rode a dinosaur with guns on their head. That's what I was thinking of.
Oh yeah.
I forget what it was called. What was it? Wasn't Dino Wars, but there was a whole like, little characters on giant dinosaur toys from the 80s.
Yeah, I definitely remember that.
Yeah, I forget what it's called. But why don't we talk about what we've been playing, what we got, and what we've been playing for the week. Let's start that here. So I guess I'll go first. I did start playing Cat Quest because Jeremy was talking about it last week, and it made for a really good editing game because it's kind of
a good series.
It's kind of mindless,
it's so
somewhat,
mindless.
and it actually kind of reminded me of. I'm glad you're here, Alex, because it kind of reminded me of Nobody Saves the World, like because it kind of has the top-down Diablo-esque brawly type thing. It kind of reminded me of that game. It reminded me of it because I got stuck in the same way I got stuck in that game, but I got past it thankfully. Like Nobody Saves the World was. I really wanted to like it, but I just got stuck and I just couldn't get out of it. Like I tried grinding and I just couldn't get any farther, and I ended up giving up on it. But this one, Cat Quest, like I said, it's kind of mindless. So I played it while I was editing, and I just, you kind of just run around and just dodge and hit people or whatever. It was a great editing thing. But I kept, you can get these side quests from these different posts in different towns, and I didn't realize that each town has a different side quest to it. So I kept getting the same side quest from one town, so the side quest kept getting harder and harder and harder and harder, and then I was playing this boss that I was like just getting one-shotted when I went into it, and I'm like, what the fuck is happening here? So I had to grind for multiple levels, and then I finally beat it. So, but then I went to a different town, I was like, oh, there's completely different quests here. Different different posts. Like there's a whole bunch of different posts on the map.
Well, it'll tell you like
and
what
they're all
level
different.
the quest is too. So
yeah, I didn't look at it. I was just like, this game is easy. I'll just keep doing.
A lot of the times, the higher level quests are actually pretty easy.
Yeah, well, it was the one. It was the one with the guy who like where you're trying to find his mother, and you find that like helmet or whatever, and he gets possessed by the helmet, and then you have to beat him later. Like he kept like one-shotting me on that one. Like really, he knocked me out in one hit. So I was like, what the fuck? But I was like, I don't know what level I was. I was like single digit level or something like that on that one. So I think I beat it at like level 15 or something like that. But it took a minute for me to jump out of it. But it was, it'll be good. Like I said, it'll be a good thing to throw on while I'm editing that I can just kind of listen to
I
the
agree. So
conversation and play it.
I might as well talk about what I did in Cat Quest this week
Go
because
for it.
I said I was a platinum pussy, and I only said that because the joke was always there in the game to like be like, let's call someone a pussy or whatever because we're making all these cat based.
Oh yeah, there's like an area called like Pussy Plains or something like that, right? That you walk
but it's
past
very
on the
late
map.
in the game
Yeah.
before the main character actually like says something to someone else about don't be a pussy. Like it literally happens in the game, and I was cracking up because I'm just like, really? Like they could have made this pun so earlier, but like I guess they're trying to give it like, yeah, but like calling someone a pussy,
Sure.
like as like
Yeah.
when you're talking to them.
But pussy as a word, it is like a location. It was
Oh,
called,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
Pussy Plains or something like that.
So the reason I said platinum pussy is like I am so close to platinum. I'm not quite platinum, but I have all but one trophy, and the only trophy I don't have, which the one that I worked the hardest for was like getting to level 99. So I'm like maxed out.
Shit.
But there's a trophy where it's like you have to complete all the dungeons. And as far as I know, I've completed all the dungeons. So I'm at this point where I might actually have to look online and be like,
Oh, you can't find
what's the
whatever's-
dungeon?
yeah.
What's the dungeon I need to beat to platinum it? Because I have thoroughly finished this game as of last week when we spoke on the podcast. I think that night I saw credits or whatever the version is, because like it doesn't really show credits. It's like you just go to it in a menu to see credits. But
There's got to be like an ending though.
I
right?
love it.
Where
I
says,
I
end.
like before like we started recording and like the time I had today, I just went back into Cat Quest and was trying to like platinum it for the podcast, and I didn't quite get there, but I might have to actually look online finally and be like, how do I get that last dungeon? Because I don't know. I don't have any icons on the map telling me where a dungeon is. Like it's hidden. But like I beat a level 200 dungeon. So I was like, I gotta be done now, right? Nope. There's one more thing I need to do. So yeah. I like this game though. I think it's fun. I think it's
Are you guys going to continue and play part 2 and 3?
Well,
yeah, I will.
2 is,
I will.
Well, 2, I know 2 is on whatever the equivalent of Game Pass for PlayStation Plus. It's on there.
Yeah.
And
so I've got
they actually
2 as
were
well.
they were really, really dirt cheap on the Switch. I don't know if they're still the same price.
Also, they were free. I think 2 was free on the Epic Game Store like a month ago.
Well, I bought Cat Quest 1 and 2 like for $1 each. Like it was like insanely cheap on Switch. So I just bought a couple of them because 3 was on whatever the last Indie Direct was, or whatever the Direct was, and I thought it looked intriguing, and I was like, these games should be on sale. And then they were on sale for a couple dollars, so I bought both of them for $2. So I was like,
Yeah, I'm gonna look online, figure out what I need to do to platinum this, and then I'm going right to Cat Quest 2. That's my goal because
Hell yeah.
I really enjoy it. Like I just like it. It's a very good. I don't know what 2's like, but the first one was like Trey said, like very mindless and satisfying. Like once you learn the combat, you actually are having a lot of fun with like the dodge mechanics and using different spells, like depending on what the weakness is, all that fun stuff. It's a good action RPG.
really got that top-down Gauntlet Diablo feel kind of to it, is what I got from it. That's
I absolutely love that the actual like overhead map is the literal map. Like it's not a separate map. It's the same map with labels and everything. So if you don't know where you are, you just zoom out and you sort of gather.
And you can zoom out too, to show you more places. But yeah, it was a pretty good editing game for me. What was not a great editing game, but still fun, is Star Wars Hunters. I've still been playing that. We actually did a stream of it for our weekly normally AEW stream, but we actually did. We went off. We didn't do any Fight Forever for once, and in our however many weeks of doing this, and we did Star Wars Hunters, and it was really fun when we got together as like a 4-person group and all that. Like we had some good time with it, even though we pretty much got rolled through most of it. But we got a couple wins towards the end there. But Star Wars Hunters is a free game on Switch. It's like a console exclusive, I think, and it's available on mobile or whatever. But I got it takes a little bit of grinding to get to the actual online. But I guess last week I said you had to be level 6 to get ranked. I think you actually can play online before that in a non-ranked mode. But we were actually we were able to find each other, because you have to get to a point to unlock social, to where you can like get friends and create a party and all that. But we were having fun with it. There was this event where it's called like it's called like character matchup or something like that, where you get to where it like randomly chooses a class for you, so you can play as classes that you haven't unlocked yet, but you can still level them up while you play them, because every class, like if you play them a certain amount of time, you level up and you get like extra shit for your weapons or whatever. So there's a lot of replayability to it, which I think is pretty cool. But if you want to play as like the Sith character or the annoying Jedi robot guy, and you don't have him yet, if you play this random matchup, it'll randomly give you a class, but you can't pick it, but you get to play as ones that you don't have yet, that sort of thing. So we were having fun with that. But yeah, it's the menus are still incredibly confusing, and that was kind of something that was all across the board while we were trying to do the stream. Was like, yeah, I still have no idea what the fuck is going on with these menus. It's like, oh cool, I got free stuff. I don't know what it means, but we got it. There it is. It's like shiny things in your face. Be like, all right, you got this, you got whatever. But it works pretty well for a free to play game, and I think it looks pretty good on Switch. We'll see how long I play it for, but it's still, it's fun, for what it is. I never really was much of a Overwatch person, but I guess they stole a lot from that, from what I heard. But the levels are
hero
cool.
shooters. That's what they call them.
The levels are cool. There's like you can play a level in the middle of a pod racing track, and there's a part where pod racers will actually come through, and if you're in the path, you'll get killed by them, which I think is pretty funny. Like that
reminds me of Smash Brothers.
You're like, let's say Smash Brothers. Right?
Yeah, no, it is kind of like Smash Brothers, but in a third-person shooter. Which you've never really seen that. But I was wondering about that. I was like, what's with the fucking pod racers that come and kill you? I thought that was like somebody's special move, because all the characters have special moves that you can build up. And you have like your ultimate move or whatever, which is pretty rad. Like there's a stormtrooper character that gets reinforcements, and like 3 stormtroopers like drop behind you and fight for you. Or like, was it the robot Jedi will like do this spin lightsaber move that like knocks everybody out around you, or like the Sith like does this gravity move that like pulls everybody right next to you, and you can kill them all with your lightsaber. Like there's some really cool like ultimate moves that are in there, and I thought that the pod race thing was an ultimate move, but it's just part of the stage. It's just like they'll give you a little warning like where it's going to be, and if you don't move quick enough, you'll get run over by the pod racers, and they'll kill you, and it's kind of
Nintendomain will run you over.
Yeah, but it's you're in the middle of a pod racing level, so it's kind of fun. But what I'm mostly, like I said, how I kind of overloaded myself with stuff. Kind of like what you did much more than I did, Alex, but same sort of thing. I kind of overloaded myself because last week I said I got a code directly from Yeo from Fading Afternoon to do a review for that, and I'm glad Joel got one as well from Nintendo World Report. But I was a huge fan of Friends of Ringo Ishikawa. I've been following this developer for a long time, and I saw on Twitter he wanted to get Metacritic reviews, so I messaged him directly, and I'd actually messaged him to be on our show before, and he declined because he doesn't speak English, which is unfortunate because I would love to talk to him because I really like these games a lot. But he sent me a Switch code. And I wanted to get my review out, and there's a review out on our WordPress site for Fading Afternoon, and it's something. Like I was really far. I was so close. I got to another character. I got my own like Yakuza branch, and I was like, I'm doing great, and then I got shot in the head on the train again. And then,
that seems to be your fate.
And when you get killed in this game,
it's like Final Destination.
It's over.
Don't get on trains.
Well, but you have to. That's how you traverse the different areas in the game. You have to get on the train. But I guess if you're not like protecting all of your like war areas, so whenever because you can choose like whether you want to fight with the Yakuza families or not. And once you start the fight with one of them, there'll be like it'll start a war in that area. And I guess if all your war areas, just if you don't defend them enough, then you'll get shot on a train, and that's the automatic ending. But if your character dies, then it goes straight to credits, and you have to start from the beginning again. So, that's just how the game works.
So you're telling me you've technically beat this game?
I got credits twice on it. I got to credits twice, but I was doing a lot of research online, just apparently there's a ton of shit on there where you could put 100 hours into this game and probably not see all the different endings and all the different parts to it. So that's pretty fucking rad. So, think
about all the ways you can die.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's part of it because the main character, Seiji, or Seiji, how do you pronounce his name? There's no voice acting in this. You all read it, so you don't know. But he gets let out of the. So it starts off with him getting let out of prison, and then you talk to your Yakuza boss, whatever, and then he's like, I got a hotel room for you. The first time you stay in your hotel room, you wake up and cough blood all over yourself. So it's kind of the idea is like, oh, well, you're terminal. You don't have much time left. And if you get beat up, like you can get beat up and not die, like in the battle stuff, and you'll wake up in a hospital and the doctor will say like, hey, you need to fucking like, you need to treat your body better because you don't have much time left. And the guy's like, well, I was born to not live that long or whatever when you leave. So it's pretty obvious that your character's gonna die in a certain amount of time, but also your health, your HP kind of like depletes like as you go through the time in the game, and it's like there's a day and night cycle that represents a week, and it just as you go, and the more you fight or the more you drink and smoke or whatever, your HP goes down farther and farther. And
but there's no dedicated smoking button.
There is a dedicated smoking button in this one. Yeah.
Oh,
it's
is
still
there?
Yeah, it's B.
Okay.
It's the B button. I've played it. Because whenever you like go to an area and it's controlled by a Yakuza or whatever, and you want to start a fight, like you fight them, and then once you defeat everybody, you'll like squat. And whenever I squat and once everybody's defeated, I like put the smoke out and I have a cigarette. I do it every time, and it's so much fun. like when you beat down all the people, you just squat and have a cigarette, and it's like, yeah, and then you flick it out. I've gone to restaurants and smoked cigarettes and threw it at other people in the restaurants. They don't react to it, but it's fun to me. I get a kick out of it. But yeah, you could totally do it. It's on there.
That's awesome.
But anyway, you can find it on WordPress. It got liked by the creator, so that means that he read it, right? That's what I was saying last week.
That's what I would say.
I just want him to read my review. I was very nervous about it. It's like talking to God directly. The god of fading afternoon. No, I think his games are really cool. I think they look awesome, and yeah, go get it. I saw that he was depressed that he didn't get a whole lot of didn't get a whole lot of business on Switch when it launched. But it's like, dude, it's like Summer Game Fest, like it's E0, like all this shit is happening. Like, trust me, like word of mouth is going to come, and people are going to come to your game because it's really, really good. So.
Yeah,
I highly recommend it. I think I gave it an 8 or whatever. But yeah, it's
Should I play Ringo first?
No, I mean they're not the same people. They're completely different.
I know, but this is like a spiritual successor, right?
Well, it's a sequel by, and the characters, like the art style looks the same and the characters look the same, but it doesn't really have to do with that. The thing with and I saw that Joel actually commented on the Facebook, on the Nintendomain Facebook about that he wasn't really into Ringo, but was liking this one better. I think that's probably because Ringo isn't really that focused on fighting, and I think that's why I really liked Ringo, because I really liked the side activities of it. Like I like that you could sit in the park and read a book, and like your knowledge meter would go up. Like I loved all this like ridiculous like RPG stuff of it. And where that one wasn't, and I didn't really fight anybody because I just wanted to go to school and get a scholarship. And if you get a scholarship, you get a bunch of extra money, and you can buy.
Yeah, I think that's what he definitely, I think, wanted some fights
because you can buy a video game system to keep at your house, like if you make enough money. And that's like I played through Ringo a couple times because I wanted to buy your video game system to have in your house because I love games within games and all that, and you had to get the scholarship to do that. So I like doing like the side activities because it kind of felt a lot like Persona in that way. But I think this one is a lot more focused on battling and fighting. And I do think the fighting system is really good. And it has this great like where you can steal weapons from people, which is really cool. And you can like automatically, well, not automatically, but you can dodge stuff. Like I would, I think I put it in my review, but the worst thing, I get hit in the head with like bottles so much, like beer bottles. Like there's one guy that will throw bottles at you and you get hit in the head and you lose like 40 HP whenever you get hit, but you can dodge it. But I was just getting hit by it constantly. It's really annoying. Funny. But you can go up and down. You can go up and down on the level. You can get it. There's other ways to get away from it than just dodging it. But yeah, you get to the point where people are trying to shoot with guns, and you can do a move where you steal their gun, and you could buy a gun as well, and you can go and shoot a certain amount of people until you run out of bullets, and then you can go buy more bullets. But There's just a lot.
It's like real life.
There's a lot to it. There's a lot of depth to it. Oh yeah, and I got credits twice. I like died 2 times. And the third time I started over again, and I said, all right, let's skip the first week. I've seen this opening cutscene a million times. Let's get past it. But it actually, there were different areas that were available to me that weren't available before, and I could go to the Hostess Club, which wasn't there before. So I kept going to the Hostess Club, and you hold a button to buy drinks, and you can upgrade your heart meter or whatever, and you can, what I imagine, you go home with the hostess that you're with or whatever. So I kept going to the Hostess Club, and eventually you run into your ex-wife in the Hostess Club, and there was there was this whole cutscene, and she breaks a beer bottle over over my head, and I'm bleeding out of
my one weakness,
main character out of my forehead, and they're trying to they're like, all right, well, you can't treat the customers like that, and you're like, you know what, it's fine, I deserve it, I was a shitty husband or whatever. There's just all this shit that you can find that you didn't even know about, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh yeah, no, there's this extra story here in the Hostess Club that I've never been to. So there's a lot of shit to it. That's what I'm saying. Play it. It's good. It's a good game. It's like $20. It's totally worth it. I mean, I can imagine. I could see myself throwing 50 hours at least into this game to try to find all the extra shit.
Sounds like it.
That's in there. And aside from that, there's a new Nintendomain podcast website because I guess I forgot to renew the last one, so I had to redesign it all over again. That's another thing that I've been swamped with work, with unpaid work for this podcast. So I made a new website, nintendomainpodcast.com. Go take a look at it. I think it's pretty cool. You can find stuff on there. There's links to YouTube and whatnot. But also, I'm going to be on an episode of Games My Mom Found this week. Our friend Mike was doing a podcast about Legend of Zelda Spirit Tracks on DS, and I just started playing that on Wii U yesterday. And I was always
a terrible game.
I know you guys don't like it for whatever reason. You're incorrect. But no, I always liked this game, and I still like it, aside from the annoying DS stuff, like blowing constantly on the mic is awful. This game blows in that way. No, I don't like. I mean, well, because I'm playing it on the Wii U, and I think the Wii U mic is a little bit smaller than most DS mics or whatever. I don't know. It's just I feel like I'm just slobbering all over my Wii U trying to play the fucking pan flute or whatever, being like, it's stupid. But I mean, I like the stuff aside from the blowing things, and I like trains. I think trains are cool. So I mean, I like that they had a spiritual train
I like
thing in there.
trains.
But no, I do like
Trains
this.
are cool.
What?
Oh no, I was like, I like trains. Trains are cool.
I do like
Trains are cool.
They are cool.
Yeah.
No, I like this one a lot better than Phantom Hourglass at the time when I played it, and I still do like it. I just don't like the blowing, the constant blowing. But that's what you get from DS games. But I would love, everybody keeps talking about a Wind Waker HD game on Switch or a Twilight Princess HD game. I want you to just take Twilight Princess and Spirit Tracks and let's remake that and get rid of all the
Phantom Hourglass.
Or yeah, what did I say?
You said Twilight Princess.
Oh yeah, Phantom Hourglass. Put Phantom Hourglass and Spirit Tracks. Let's put that on Switch, but get rid of all of the touch controls. I also hate that too, but both of them have that. Let's try to do it. Let's redo it and make it HD and get rid of the fucking touch controls. And I think it'd be cool. Make it a 2-packer together and release that on Switch on your direct.
Touch controls were very important to the gameplay.
I mean, you have to do them, but I don't like
because you have to
like it necessarily.
Map out your routes to avoid evil trains and stuff, right?
Actually, the mapping out isn't that important. The map. Well, I mean, what's more important is changing whether you go left or right when there's dangers around you. But I guess also, yeah, you tap on the screen to shoot things once you get a cannon on your train and all that to protect you. I'm just saying they did it with Skyward Sword. They got rid of the motion controls on that. You could remake this also and get rid of all the touch controls, and it would be more enjoyable to play. That's all I'm saying. But I do miss. It does make me miss old Zelda games. I miss that.
I miss old Zelda.
Well, I miss the old ones where you could go to a fucking dungeon and you get a weapon and then you fight a boss with the weapon. I miss that. The old what we used to have for the old formula for Zelda games. I miss that. I mean,
established in Link to the Past.
Established in I mean, I don't know, Zelda 1 or something. I miss those games. It makes me miss them even more playing Spirit Tracks. It's like, man.
Have you actually beat Zelda 1?
No, I never beat Zelda 1.
All right.
What I know about Zelda 1, I've barely played
Don't
it.
say that.
I mean, but you still get weapons and you still use them in a dungeon and you beat a guy, you know? That's what I'm saying. Anyway, I'm good. Can move on to whatever, either of you.
Sure. I'll move on. I already talked about Cat Quest, so I'll move on to a game I played this week. And, also one of my statements I made at the top of the show was about the only Grand Theft Auto game where if you don't exercise enough, you get physically unfit. Like, that's part of it. And that is GTA San Andreas, the remake. I've been playing it on the PS.
Oh,
on the PlayStation 5.
Oh, yeah. Is that the same as what was on the trilogy on Switch? Like that sort of thing?
Yeah.
Like the remake.
So it got released. So it got released on
unquote.
PS Plus. That's the only way I'm playing. That's the only reason I'm playing it.
I don't think. Yeah,
I'm having a lot of
the
fun with
re-release
it.
more like.
I guess so. It's definitely a remake in the sense that they really like buffed up like the graphics and certain functions, but it's also really funny because I've played a lot of GTA 5, and at this point, that game like just crossed 10 years. What, like last year? It's 11, closer to 11 years old now. But
I thought GTA 5 and Mario Kart 8 were kind of close on their times. About
yeah,
right?
It was 2013.
It was 2013.
Oh, okay, so it was last year.
Yeah. So GTA 5's been out for a long time, but you know what? I actually had a really good time. I have been having a really good time playing the San Andreas remake because at this point it's had a lot of patches and stuff. And I'm playing it on the PS5, so it's like the, one of the like higher end consoles you could play it on. And it works well. Like everything about it, like
they finally fixed all the your face doesn't enlarge while you're riding a bike. Like I remember that was
glitches pretty quick from back then too. Like back when I was jumping in and playing it, I said it on the show. I thought it was worth buying at the time, despite all the negative flack that it got. They fixed it pretty quick.
Do you get the other ones too on your level? Like, can you do Vice City in 3?
No, it's only San Andreas.
San Andreas.
So that's the only one I could play.
Oh, that's weird.
And so, like, I started playing it. I've never really played this game before.
That's so strange
So
that
I
they
was
only gave
actually-
you the one.
Yeah, it is. But
you can play. I think you can play all 3 of them on Netflix on your phone because they're free on there through Netflix games.
But for me, San Andreas was like kind of my blind spot because I had played 4 and 5, and I played a lot of 3 and Vice City. So like San Andreas was the one I just hadn't played much of, and I'm actually surprised at how many mechanics were abandoned for GTA 5 that are in this, including, like I said, you have to like monitor your diet and your exercise.
Yeah, I remember that being a thing in San Andreas,
and you will get very like large if you're not doing that, and then you can't move as quickly, and like you get made fun of and stuff. And obviously that's fat phobia or whatever. I'm not trying to make that a thing, but I still think it's funny
some
that
toxic fat phobia in that game.
some
Well, I mean, there's a lot of
super
toxic stuff in GTA.
It just had some super Minecraft style elements in it that it's just like, really, I have to like monitor my hunger meter and like my physique and like all this other stuff.
I actually just saw a random video recently that was talking about like it's kind of crazy that in San Andreas, if you just don't get a haircut, there's like whole other sections of dialogue where they just talk bad about you.
Yeah, you have to like go in and like get your line like fixed.
Get
and
lined
stuff.
up.
Like, you will get like people will be like interacting with you different if your like hair doesn't look right or whatever. And you have to wear your colors
too,
for
so
your gang. Yeah.
It's like good for your dates and all that stuff. Or your dates won't go out with you.
But you have to be repping your gang. So you have to be wearing the greens and stuff. So I've been doing that. And like, I started using cheat codes. I'm not going to lie. I started using those real early because I was just like, well, this is what I like to do.
Let's drop a tank right here. Can you still do that?
Well, I started doing that, and one of my favorite things was that you can arm all of the pedestrians and make them like hyper aggressive, and it's actually really fun because all of a sudden, like all the pedestrians are like
everything's very dangerous now. Yeah,
right, but they're not just focused on you; they're like focused on each other, and I really like that. I just really like the the whole thing. And so I kind of created like, so based on the cheats that I put in, I started to like sort of get this sort of like a very one punch man kind of narrative going. But I have this cheat I put in where I have like a punch that will just like send you launching across the map and you die. But like what's funny about it, and I found it out when I was using it, is that it doesn't just apply to you. Like the pedestrians could punch you and then you'll die too. So I had this whole narrative I was coming up with where like there's a superhero, you know, kind of like One Punch Man that could like defeat a boss in one hit. But eventually people figured out that anybody that the hero fought actually ended up like absorbing those powers, so to speak. So like it was a whole narrative that I had a fun time playing for a couple hours where I was just like, I'm a superhero going through, you know, the city and like I have these powers, but like anyone else could have them too. If I'm not careful, like I'll just give them away. And I thought that would be kind of a cool story for like a whole superhero comic, like a superhero who like has these amazing powers, but each villain they fight, if they don't know it already, they just fall. But if they know, then they'll know like, well, if he punches me, then I absorb his power to punch, and then all of a sudden I'm just as powerful with my punches. And I thought that was kind of I don't know. I role played that in my head a little bit. I was just like, I'm a superhero going around who like, you know, I'm a vigilante, and I'm obviously like doing a lot of like morally type stuff. But if any of these like criminals realize they could just like turn my attacks back on me, I'd be fucked. I don't know. I think that's kind of a fun idea for maybe like a superhero comic or something. Because obviously once people realized it, like that would be the end of it. You'd have to find some other slant for it. But I still thought that was cool. Like I could kill any NPC with one punch, but like if they punched me, I was out. Was done for.
Yeah, but they always have that power, right? They don't need to absorb it from you. They're just all, because of the code, they're just all overly powered, right? So it's just like everybody has superpowers.
But that's the way I'm role playing it in my head. Like I have this power, but it's like easily absorbed by those who I interact with. So if they know about it, then I'm fucked. If they don't know who I am, then I'm gonna win.
One of the cool things about games like that, like GTA, I found myself doing the same thing in Hitman, like because it's a sandbox game and it invites you to be creative and invites you to do your own take on whatever the mission is that you're doing. And I would do the same kind of thing, just like come up with my own meta story aside from whatever's going on in the game and just get real creative with it. Yeah.
It reminded me of DC Universe Online, the MMO game on PS3 that I played. Well, I mean, the idea was like some alien shit fell on Earth and everybody has powers now. And was the idea as to why everybody's a superhero. Well,
one of my big complaints about GTA 5.
What's up?
Yeah. Oh, it's still going?
Yeah, they just had an update.
On what? DC Universe
Online?
It's still going. You can get it on Switch for free. I played it on Switch.
There was just like a content drop.
Yeah, I know. I mean, it's still going. Yeah, from what I heard. I mean, you used to have to pay like $50 a month to play it, and I did for a couple months because I did really like it when it came out. Say, you know,
Jeremy,
but now it's all free to play.
Have you played Saints Row?
We've all played Saints Row.
Actually, Volition Studios is based out of the town I live in.
From the hometown.
They don't exist anymore, but
one of their artists is my brother's neighbor in Elgin.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah,
cool.
Volition is right here. Well, it was right here in town. So it was kind of one of our claims to fame as a community that we had. Like, you know, the developer of Saints Row was like.
We have a couple.
Before that, it was what? I'm trying to remember. Geobotting. What's that?
It was a Red Faction too.
Red Faction, yeah.
Yeah, Red Faction Guerrilla Remastered was from there. Love that game.
I think Young Horses was also is out here somewhere. They did Bug Snacks.
Oh yeah, Bug Snacks. Jeremy got that one. Yeah. No, I had a lot of fun.
Oh,
with
I'm a huge KKB fan, so the fact they did like the theme song for it was like, I got to play this game.
Yeah, so I thought Saints Row. If you like his idea of like cheat codes, I'm like, isn't the Saints Row games just like cheat codes?
They are like you start as like the president with like infinite power. So no, I've played those games. Don't get me wrong. I just was like, I finally have a chance to play San Andreas, and I've heard so much good things about it. I know a lot of people consider 4 to be the best one. I played a bit of it. I didn't get into it as much, but like I played, I was like, I bought 5 day one, played the shit out of it, and I actually ended up meeting the guy who it was the voice actor for Little Pete and Pete that did a voice in
Danny Tamborelli.
Yeah, Danny Tamborelli. So I've actually like met that guy and talked to him and stuff. So like, I don't know, something about this game, like GTA 5, like it holds a special place in my heart. I mean, I'm sure it does for a lot of people, but
I just like Pete and Pete.
I was surprised how
A lot of people
San
do,
Andreas
like
is
that.
so much more complex in its systems. Like it's so much
Pretty
more
ambitious.
complex and like
It was a complaint at the time. I remember people saying like this is more of a hassle, and I think that's why
Yeah.
like 4 dialed it a lot of it back.
Now, I'm surprised that you didn't ever play San Andreas. I actually own San Andreas.
I never played it.
Just because Darren bought it for $10 from GameStop when we lived together, and I mean, you met Darren. I think Darren was at the party when you were there, Alex. But that was one of my old roommates. But anyway, yeah, he bought it for PS2, and personally, I don't like Grand Theft Auto like at all. But I have San Andreas, and I've played it. So just because I have it, because Darren bought it and pretty much gave it to me because he didn't have a PS2 at the time.
I love it. It's it's like that pastiche of like early 90s, like I don't know, LA, like pre Rodney King riots, sort of like that's sort of what they're trying to build for their like whole tension and stuff. And like I think it's really cool, like the music and just the vibe of everything, and like the cars, especially the cars. Man, they look so cool. Like the motorcycles look so fucking cool in San Andreas. They're like these low ride choppers. Like, I don't know. It's just like a snapshot of time. That's really cool. I really like it. I love riding those choppers. They're so cool. They're so cool in this game.
I was so annoyed by that game at the time because I had it, because Darren bought it and gave it to me. That's all that anybody ever wanted to play on PS2. And I'm like, come on, there's other games. Let's play Katamari Damacy or something else, please.
Yeah, I like it. I like it a lot. And I am actually surprised. Well, like Alex was saying, like people are complaining about the systems probably, but it was ahead of its time. I mean, the survival games like have a
Ahead
stranglehold on
or behind
right now.
Mm-mm.
Well, maybe it was behind.
They were probably mad that the main antagonist wasn't white. I mean, that's what everybody seems to be mad about.
That's the best
now.
part.
Or the most vocal people are mad about that. I mean, actually, I did
I
think
don't know.
that part of it was
I
cool.
love it. I love it. It's fun,
So-
and I'm having a good time with it. But I am using cheats. I don't care. I don't care about this game enough to not use cheats. But
Yeah.
it's still really fun, and I love how it like unfolds as you go.
On the subject of the main character, so I just happened to hear last week an interview with the guy who played in 5. Who's the dude in 5? Does Michael? Does Trevor? What's the other guy's name?
Franklin.
Franklin, yeah. So I heard an interview with him, and he was talking about how he got the role of Franklin. And it turns out that that the guy who played CJ in this one was his cousin.
Okay.
Oh,
They sound similar.
Like his actual cousin. So they're actually related, CJ and Franklin.
They have a very similar vocal cadence. Like it's like I understand it's supposed to be like early 90s, like LA, like black community or whatever, but still,
Yeah.
I don't know. They have a similar style of speaking.
I like that aspect of it. I was just talking shit just about toxic the toxic commenters, whatever. Mostly the Star Wars community that are mad that the main character's not a white dude.
But I love this game, and like this is one of the reasons I played less of Bellatra this week. It's probably good. I haven't played it much at all. I played 0 Animal Well this week, so I've just been so hung up on Cat Quest and GTA San Andreas remake. That's just all I've been playing this week,
There you go.
and that's it for me.
And John bought some stuff, which I
got a couple things. Today I went and I pre-ordered Nintendo World Championships. Went down to GameStop and
you went
done this.
like you
I did,
physically. Well, yeah, because you want the physical version of it.
Want the physical
you want
version?
that. You want that fake NES cart to put it on
Yep.
your wall somewhere.
Yep.
You got a whole
Well,
lot of
physical
space
version.
in the middle there. There's a lot of white you could cover with it. We could put it in the picture here.
It's true.
To the
Put it
side.
next to Charles Martinet.
Or yeah, over
There
there.
we go, right
Yeah,
there.
Or on the other side. I was in the middle.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so I went
could
down to
display it.
GameStop and like you have to actually go to the store to pre-order it, which I think is kind of silly in this day and age. I'm like, why can't I just pre-order it online?
They got to get somebody to come to
pick up at a
GameStop.
GameStop. Yeah,
They got to get somebody to go there.
I think that is why.
Yeah, I mean, they
Physically,
need
that is
they need
why.
some foot traffic. Yeah.
right.
Mhm.
I mean, they're barely hanging on.
That's probably it. So, yep, I went there and
In the
did
middle.
that. I also got a couple games this week because there was a sale, and I got finally We Love Katamari reroll for the
Oh,
cheapest
it's
it's
such an
ever been.
amazing game.
There it is. Have you played
Yeah.
it? Have you got to play
It's
No,
it?
my
not yet.
favorite
I've not-
Katamari game.
I've not touched it yet.
I've tried so many
Easily my
times.
favorite
I've
Katamari
tried
game.
so hard to get into that game, and it's still not there for me. I played
What's
it.
wrong with it for
I'll
you?
get there.
I don't know. It's just I don't know. I love the first one so much, and
Mhm.
I don't like the way the map is set up, which is really weird. But
Mm.
just none of the modes really grabbed me. I understand. Yeah, it only takes a couple hours to get through it. I just every time I've tried to play it on Switch, I've just kind of like given up after the.
I love it.
I
It's
played
my favorite
maybe
Katamari game, easily.
2 worlds on there, and I'm like,
That's the
eh.
second one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
But
the second
yeah,
one.
I like the second one. I fell off after that. I know there's a PSP one.
I think everybody did after this. I think the
I haven't
only
played the
good
PSP
ones
one.
were the first two.
There was an
Well, I
Xbox
played
one
the-
too.
I say I played the Xbox one, and I love that, and I beat that one. I played all.
Yeah, I heard good
things.
things.
Well, I think the problem was that all the other ones after that were just recycling the levels that were in the first two, so they weren't really new. Was the
Oh, really?
problem. Yeah.
That I didn't know.
It
I
was
just
kind of
know
like,
that
let's
the-
have HD versions of what's in.
I just know the
Katamari and
one.
We
Like
Love
for me, it was
Katamari.
like when it came out on Xbox. It was early enough that I didn't have a 360, but my friend Dan did, who's been on the show, and I was like, "You got to get this new Katamari game. We need to play it." And Dan had never played a Katamari game before, so I was like, "You're
Well,
gonna love
miss-
it," and
miss
he
the
did.
PS2
So
one.
this is the 360 one, yeah.
No, I was saying he didn't play the PS2 one.
No, he had never played the first two. So I was like, this is the game you will like, Dan. I guarantee it. Buy it. Let's play it together. And so I convinced him to buy it on the Xbox because, I didn't have any other way to play it. And I may have thrown him a few bucks. I don't remember. Probably not. Knowing myself back then, probably not. But I convinced him to get it, and it's a great game. Like, don't get me wrong. The second one for me holds a special place in my heart because I thought the music was better, and I really liked the way it was compared to the first one. I really liked the way the levels were set up to be well, people don't like Katamari anymore, so you gotta make it cool again. That was the whole point of that game, was to get Katamari popular again within the fictional universe.
Well, I'm
Two?
going to argue that I don't think that
2 or
anybody
3?
I don't think that people thought that Katamari wasn't cool.
I didn't think it wasn't cool. I was really excited
No,
to
but
play.
that's
yeah.
that's the in-game thing. That's the whole
premise.
thing.
Oh,
So
that's
the
the story.
characters are just over Katamari. So you got to make it cool again. So part of the whole thing is
You got to convince your cousins.
it
or
was
whatever
almost
to
like the
think you're
developers
cool.
were like, well, we need to make it cool again. We need to make it cool to keep going on, but let's set the story up exactly that way where everybody's sick of Katamari. We gotta
Okay.
make it cool again.
Yeah,
That's the cheapest it's ever been. It's $7.50. It's still on sale for the next couple days too.
is that
Yes.
with the with the extra music or what? Because there's a bundle. There's different
No, there's
versions.
another bundle. That was so confusing to me. It's still confusing.
Yeah, I don't understand it either.
The bundled version is still $40. It must be some music licensing thing. So I was kind of waiting for that to go on sale, but I don't think that's ever going to go on sale. And this is the cheapest it's not going to get any cheaper than $7.50.
No.
This is it. So I finally just went ahead and
That's
bought it.
half of a Hamilton 0.5.
I don't know.
So that was it for. I just decided to go ahead and get it. The other one that I just decided to go ahead and get for the same reason was the Disney classic games Aladdin and the Lion King, down to $6.99.
Which I believe you think that the Super Nintendo version's the best, right?
No, you think
Why
you think the Super Nintendo version is the best.
I know,
no,
I know.
no,
I'm
no,
just
no,
trying
no,
to.
no.
I'm just trying to
That was our
That's a
legend.
blatant lie.
That was our legendary episode that we did. That we did an episode way back when. I think it was the best one we ever did. No, it was pretty good. We did like
It was pretty good.
we did like a thing where Jeremy and John like would defend it back and forth, and I was the judge, and I gave you like 2 minutes to defend each game, and I said that the Genesis one was better, but I was wrong. I think the Super Nintendo was better. I think.
Well,
still.
I think Disney thinks that.
I mean, now that I've played both of them,
the Genesis one is better because that's the one they included in the Capcom one for Super Nintendo.
Well, it's probably because they
that's
didn't
the
have
DLC.
to. Well, it's probably because they had to pay Capcom something, and the Genesis one was like, we're giving it to you for free, so here you go.
Well, I know the Virgin.
Capcom is actually a legit company.
Version
So,
was the one that was on like Game Boy Color and stuff. So like, it kind of makes sense that the Sega version was the one that was getting ported and stuff. Like,
yeah, the Sega one was
because Virgin was like the one doing it everywhere except for on the Super Nintendo.
It was Tommy Tallarico. Like people like him still, right? Not really. I think he got canceled too.
Yeah,
but
he's my friend.
But no, he was on.
I stand by everything he says.
But I mean, wasn't he? Didn't he do the soundtrack for this and the?
He's actually in this. He's in interviews and stuff. So there's interviews included with the package.
Yeah, no, he's a big part of it.
And it's him and Dave Perry are the two interviews that I've seen. So they're kind of being interviewed together.
Mr. Shiny?
Mr. Shiny. Yeah, Mr. You type in the
Earthworm
code
Jim?
on the game and on the Genesis one, Earthworm Jim, yes. And famously, you type in
Messiah?
the code on the Genesis one and he'll pop up and say, "Oh, Dave Perry, what is your wish?" And so he says that he got a lot of recognition and actual like career advancement because he decided to put himself in there as the code. So that's one of the things that I've seen. So
a lot of people don't know this, but Dave Perry is Katy Perry's dad.
Is he related to Steve Perry, the greatest bassist ever?
He's Steve Perry's son.
I was gonna say none of that's true. Is it?
A lot of people don't know that.
I don't think any of that.
I was like, wait a minute.
Don't listen to anything that's happening.
Yeah.
None of it's correct.
He also invented the parry system in Street Fighter.
Yeah.
What? No. Street Fighter 3. The best one ever. Third Strike.
So this includes the Genesis version, Game Boy versions of both Aladdin and Lion King. Actually, it's not. It doesn't have the Genesis Lion King. So this gets really confusing to me. Like this whole thing it's kind of far from a definitive collection, and I have to think that there's like some legal reasons why or whatever. There's the SNES Lion King. There's the Game Boy Lion King. And then you can get the DLC, which includes the SNES Aladdin, plus the Jungle Book game as well. That's an additional $10. But nowhere in any of this is the Game Gear version of these games, which is what I played. So I'm a little disappointed.
Did you think it was going to be in there when you purchased it? Like, did you expect the Game Gear version to be in there? Of any of them?
Because it says, there's like a color version of the game, but it turns out it's the Game Boy, like the Super Game Boy version. It's just the Game Boy with color turned on.
It's the Virgin version.
Yeah. And I didn't look into it too much because it was $6.99. I was like, all right, let me just buy it and figure it out.
I want you to beat Lion King by next week. I heard that game is insanely hard, but I want you to just put yourself into it. That's my challenge to you.
Beat
the Lion King.
on our show. We don't like that game so much that if we swear, that's punishment.
I've heard it. I've never played it, but I heard it was hard as fuck.
Yeah, we have to play it on our streams for an hour, and Joel.
That's your swear jar.
Yeah, and Joel's done it like 7 times.
That's where you just have to play Lion King on Genesis.
That's what you get for not doing the homework for the week or whatever. Not studying the notes.
That's like the penalty box. I kind of.
You do it for an hour, and then you hate your life.
And you're just in like the level with the monkeys.
Joel has made it. He got to Teen Simba once. He's like 7 hours. He's like 7 hours in.
You're just like mowing on like grubs and stuff. I think that's all you do is Teen Simba.
There's like save states and rewind and stuff in this, right? Have they done things to make it a little bit less punishing, like on the collection?
Yeah, there's all that stuff.
Yeah, it is. We just don't use this.
It's not allowed.
We don't use that because Lion King is a real, way to determine who is who in this world socially.
Who is the who is the ultimate being of lionness?
We just accept
Are you a
our current
cub or a
social,
king?
status that we're in.
I was more of a fan of the original Japanese cartoon, Kimba, the White Lion. Look it up; it's good.
Simba.
Exactly.
They didn't put that in the collection.
Yeah.
Yeah, what's up with why isn't the Kung Pao reference?
It should include
I got
They
zombies.
should include Hamlet in there too. Also,
I got Zombies
Yourself
Ate My
in that,
Neighbors
too.
and Ghoul Patrol, which I never really have.
Ooh, Zombie Ate My Neighbors.
I
I've
saw.
never really had much experience with either of these games, so I'm excited to give those a try.
That's a classic
They're
SNES.
I saw
I
saw
grew
those
up with
on
the Sega
sale.
one.
I saw those on sale too, and I was
Yeah, it's $5.24.
looking into it.
Yeah, I grew up with the Sega one. I had a blast.
Zombies Ate My Neighbors. I've never
Hell yeah.
played. I've
Patrol,
never
I'm not
played
familiar
them.
with at all.
Yeah.
They're so much fun in like that. They have a lot of like B horror references and the music, and you're fighting monsters with like squirt guns and soda can grenades and a lot of other stuff. It's very cool, and I think there's like the level count's really high. I think it was like 200 levels.
Okay. And it's a Lucasfilm game too, which surprised me because I just played the Disney one, and then I fire this one up and Disney flashes on the screen again. I was like, I wasn't expecting that.
Well, they own it. Yeah.
For Zombies Ate My Neighbors.
Oh, I'm way off. 48 levels. I thought there was way more.
Still a lot.
That's a lot of levels.
I think I got to like level 20 or something. Yeah, it gets like there's giant ants, and it's just fun stuff all around. You're trying to save the cheerleaders and the other people. Yeah.
Yeah, Ghoul. Yeah, well, I mean, Ghoul Patrol was the 1994 sequel, but I haven't played any of them. But it was published by JVC, which were the same people who did the Super Star Wars games, which I would love to see them on Switch. I love those games, Super Star Wars, Empire, and Return.
Other than that, the reason why I haven't really played any of those games is because I've been knee deep in Tears of the Kingdom, and I put another 60 hours in this week. So I'm at 365
60?
hours now. 60, yep.
You played for 60 hours this week.
I did, yeah.
It's an average of 12 hours a day if it was a work week.
Said multiple.
Wow.
Said multiple.
Wow.
He said multiple Zelda days earlier at the very beginning of the episode.
It's a lot.
That's a lot.
Played a lot, yep. So, beat the Desert Temple, and I've just been taking my time beyond that. Like, I can go beat the game any moment, but I just want
Trying for more bullfrogs.
try the bullfrogs, find all the outfits. I've abandoned my weapon stash, my bow stash. I'm almost there with the shield stash.
And
Yep.
you made a lot of meals, I saw.
Made a lot of meals, yes. I did. Yes, so that's what I've been doing this week.
You are like super set to just like go finish the game and see this. In my opinion, the best ending to a Zelda game I've ever seen.
Did you ever you completed Tears of the Kingdom, right, Alex? Did you make it to the end?
I have not played it.
You never played Tears? You haven't played Tears at all?
Well, there's Tears of the Kingdom, and then there's Breath of the Wild. I played Breath of the Wild for 30 hours, and then I said, "This game is not for me."
Oh, okay.
That
Okay.
stuff.
Are
that
you
stuff-
are you on the other side of do you miss the original Legend of Zelda way of
Yes,
things like me?
It's also because I don't. Open worlds don't jive with me because I end up getting lost, and I don't like. I kind of get real ADHD, and then after a while, I just get mad because I'm like, I spent like 20 hours doing nothing, and like
Yeah.
I can't play like I played Skyrim for 40 hours. I did nothing of the story.
Oh well, I don't know. I played what was it? The one before.
So that's the way I played GTA games.
I played
Yeah.
I played Oblivion. That's the one before Skyrim, right? I hated
Yeah.
that game so much because I put however many hours into it. I'm like, I haven't done anything. I was like, this game is a fucking waste of time. I've been waiting 5 hours for these fucking cat people to come out of this house to do something where I'm supposed to catch them, and nothing's happening. Fuck this piece of shit. I hated that game so much. I gave it away. But yeah, no. I hear you. No, I was
Yeah.
curious. Where you were at on that on Tears.
No, I have nothing against them. They're very good games. I just, for me, I need a direction. The closest I got, Outer Worlds. Outer Worlds was like, Fallout and Skyrim, like, sci-fi, but also very contained. It wasn't 1,000 side quests. It was 5. And I was like, that's enough side quests for me. And that's enough story to move forward.
Sure.
So that's kind of where I'm at with those games. That like, I need to be contained, or else I'm just out. I'm nowhere.
Do you not like to build weird vehicles?
I mean, I do. But I also have Banjo-Kazooie nuts and bolts.
I guess so.
Yeah, I mean,
fair enough.
Never played that one,
Fair
but
enough.
I'm sure it's not too.
It's also Besieged.
Close
Besieged
to
is also good.
Tears of the Kingdom.
Besieged?
Yeah, that's more of like a they just give you like a fortress and they say break it, and then they give you all the tools to just like engineer a mechanical war machine, and then you just go. And it's like the puzzle is you can build whatever you want and then try to defeat the fortress, and then it's like next level, and it's even harder now, but you have to, you're putting axles and wheels and blah blah. It's like a machine, like a machine building sim.
Well, it still amazes me how much I have left to see of Tears of the Kingdom. Like, I'm looking at the heroes mode, despite being 365 hours in, and pretty much at the end of the game. You look at the heroes path mode, and it's like there's huge swaths of land that I still haven't somehow gone over yet. Like, there's that if just talking about covering the map, actually walking through it, I've probably done like 60%, maybe 70% of the map after all this time, and there's still stuff left to see. I'm just like, I don't know. It's mind-boggling. It's bordering on becoming like one of the wonders of the world. This game, like, how do you put so much into one game? How is this humanly possible? Did they have 500,000 people working on this game? What did they do to actually make this thing? I don't know.
We know the answer. We've said it a bunch of times. The answer is Monolith. They're one of the best game development companies there are. The people behind Xenoblade Chronicles, they are badass. They are fucking G's.
I was also going to say at a very similar time frame, Elden Ring also came out, and that's also very similar in the scope and everything. Like, we're in a very good place with making these massive open worlds. That
I remember making the joke because I had already played Elden Ring. And when they revealed the caves, I remember like, is this Elden Ring?
Yeah,
I remember saying that online, being like,
the developers did ask them if it was inspired by Elden Ring, and they said no, because we've had no time to play anything because we're working constantly on this game. That's what they said. They're like, Elden what? I don't know. we've been just making this game, so it wasn't.
No, it's got huge Elden Ring vibes, but not in a bad way.
But I'm not even
I love that game.
I'm not even comparing them in that way. I'm just saying is that we just a golden age if you want to be in the open world scene. You want to play an open world game? We got them, baby. Whatever you want.
But weren't you a fan of Elden Ring, Alex? As far as didn't you love that? That's an open world thing.
I played a lot of that with other people. I was in a real there are ways right now. There are really good mods to play multiplayer, and then at that point, I was summoning all the time. I was pretty much
so you can do mods where you can constantly play multiplayer instead of limited instances,
and you could turn on friendly fire or turn it off, and there's different things like that where you can turn on sliders and adjust the multiplayer. It's all on the PC, but there are a whole lot of fun things now you can do with Elden Ring on PC.
Because I remember there being an episode when you were on here. I think you made it through Elden Ring before Jeremy did. So you were super hardcore into that one.
Yeah,
but that one worked, but Tears didn't for you.
Yeah, the Tears in Breath of the Wild,
they're very different.
How many bosses are there? I feel like I was I was feeling like I was achieving stuff by wandering, as opposed to I didn't feel like I would find a Korok seed and I didn't I was like, oh, okay. I feel like I wasn't as rewarded to me.
I feel like in Elden Ring, you're always you try to go out of your element, and then you get your ass handed to you. Whereas in Tears of the Kingdom, maybe it's kind of similar, but it's definitely a bit more surmountable based on the mechanics. Whereas Elden Ring's all about learning how to use your equipment and what your
See, I don't even know.
different
Breath of the Wild. I was in the desert and I had the armor for it, but I just got stuck in a loop of trying to find the desert dungeon, and at the same time there was like an enemy that was just like constantly destroying me. So I was
the desert was kind of
sandworm.
a pain in the ass. Like
that was the
sandworm
third boss.
character.
The under
Yeah, I think
thing
that
or
was the
whatever.
third boss I was at.
I mean, are you? I'm sure you're excited about Elden Ring DLC, right? That's a couple weeks away from now, right? Isn't that?
Yeah,
very
I'm
soon?
debating how far I want to go into that. If I do,
That's
but
that's like next week, right?
Yeah,
Like
it's
Erd-Tree is like
very
next
soon.
week. Yeah.
I'm still not 100% clear what I need to do. Like, can I use my pre-existing file, or do
You
I-
can. You just have to be up to a certain point. There's
Yeah,
like
I think you just go to
Well, I've got
the
multiple files
tree,
that are
right? And you
to
just
the
go to
point.
the Erd-Tree and say hello, and it gives you something. I thought that was
I don't
in
know
one
if
of the. I thought that was one of the trailers where you don't have to like beat the game or whatever. You can find it in the environment.
Yeah, that's essentially what it is.
That's what I heard. I don't know. I have Elden Ring. I haven't played it, but I have it. Anyway, is there any news thing anybody wants to say before we go? I mean,
News. Don't snooze or you miss the news.
Final Fantasy IX almost confirmed.
yeah, there is
As a remake?
Are you talking
Yeah.
about the leaks, the Steam leaks? Because we could talk
Yeah.
about that.
Yeah,
Yeah, because there was the Steam DB Steam database was what I was thinking. I don't know.
Yes.
There was
Yes.
there was a big leak saying that there's a possible Turok Dinosaur Hunter remake, which
Well, I don't know if it would be remake. I mean, didn't they really re-release them already?
they re-released the 3 games, but there is a GameCube Turok Dinosaur Hunter that has been released. How about that one?
Oh, really?
Yeah, no, I mean there was Turok Evolution, like nobody re-released that one. I'm a big Turok fan. I loved all the Night Dive Studio Turok stuff on there, but I don't know.
Comics are cool.
Yeah, I read the comic a little bit, but no, I mean I love that first game. The second one's not that great, but the third one was really good. But no, I like those. I like those games a lot. But I'm a big first-person shooter person. But yeah, no, they were saying Turok and yeah, possible. There's some leaks about different things. Final Fantasy IX remake. Sure, make those characters look less stupid this time around.
Yeah,
I don't
I
know.
thought they were great.
I thought they looked like freaks, but I thought their design was pretty.
I
awful.
like freaks.
Yeah.
Freaks are my friends.
I mean, I like freaks too, but not ones that are designed that badly. But no, just the art. Yeah, the art of it was weird.
I like those characters. I like Zidane. Anyway, it's
I do
it's-
too.
That's a fun one. That's been a thing for a long time.
That's been rumored multiple times, all over the
video
place.
leaked that a long time ago.
Yeah, there was something about Doom on there. I finally watched the Doom whatever the old time Doom game. Cool. Hopefully it's better than whatever the last one was, Doom Eternal.
It wasn't great.
So I didn't like Doom Eternal, so hopefully it's better than that. Mega Man 1 through 5 came to Nintendo Switch Online. That was kind of cool on Game Boy.
Yeah.
I played like 5 seconds of 2 of them, and I was like, oh yeah, I suck at these games. Cool. Next. I played that.
Every time I trick myself into buying those collections again.
But you can play them for free. Well, if you have a Nintendo Switch Online, the $20 a year thing, you can play the Game Boy versions of Mega Man 1 through 5.
Perfect.
Which are still pretty
The-
good. They actually run
the
pretty
ideal
well
way.
for original Game Boy games. I think they still run all right for what they are.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, I played around with them, and they run pretty well for an OG Game Boy game. I mean,
Yeah.
they're free with NSO. I guess I just want to mention a couple things. I saw you had some comments on here, John. Yuka Replayly. Yeah, I was really confused by that. I was like, shouldn't we just give that?
super confused.
Shouldn't we just give that away for free for anybody who bought ukulele the first time? Because who cares? I don't know. I thought it sucked when it first came out, and you want to re-release it again and sell it to people?
Remastering
Just
it, yeah.
give it away for free for anybody who paid for the first game.
Well, supposedly they're going to fix the mechanics, and yeah,
Once again,
I don't
it
know.
should be free for anybody who paid for it.
it's all
the
about
first
like
time.
a new version of Unreal Tournament or Unreal Engine or whatever that
Yeah,
they used to
I don't
develop it. Is probably why. I don't know. I mean, I would like to think that they could make it more playable, but at the same time, I'm like, what? I think John said it very succinctly. It's like, what we're remastering current gen games. Like, Well,
Yeah.
absolutely, that's been happening. The last
It's not a
couple
current
seasons.
gen game. It came out on PS4.
It did.
It came out on Switch, which is still here.
Yeah, well, barely. The Switch is barely here.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, Ukulele's been, I don't know,
It's too recent.
it wasn't a
Focus
very
your
good
efforts on
game.
Something new.
I'm just saying, but it was known as not being a good game when it came out. Like, I don't know, making a release. I'm just saying, just
like
give
the
it to
Impossible
the
Lair is
people who
supposedly
paid
really
for
good.
it. Yeah, well, that's a 2D game. It's different, but no,
I
I like.
know, but it's like
yeah.
using the same engine and stuff.
Yeah, I just thought it was
I mean,
a really weird. I just didn't
They've
understand.
remastered The Last of Us too, right? It's like
They've
that's done.
remastered
Right,
like 5
exactly.
times because they didn't have any games for PS5 when it came out. So it's like, let's just re-release ones. Well, they did the same thing for 4. Let's like re-release PS3 games. I mean, you know.
I mean, that's what. I mean, what are we waiting on? We're waiting on like how many Wii and Wii U games are left?
Like 2.
Not many.
Yeah,
Devil's
like
Third
Star
is the one
Fox
I'm waiting
Zero,
for
Devil's
to make
Third,
it
yeah.
to. It's like
And
Devil's
then,
Third and
Wind
Yoshi's
Waker.
Yoshi's Woolly World.
Star Fox Zero.
Star
Wind
Fox
Waker.
Zero, yeah. Xenoblade Chronicles X. I think you already said that.
there is like a like that is also another like well-known industry like thing of like, yeah, Wind Waker's done. Like that's they really remade that. It's done. They're just waiting for the time frame.
That's what they keep saying, but I mean,
It's just sitting on a shelf.
Yeah,
it's digital. It's not sitting anywhere. It's not a.
It's on a shelf in some warehouse, just
Yeah.
waiting to be distributed.
It's next to the Ark from Raiders of the Lost Ark.
It's
yeah.
next to the Ark from the Bible.
Also, yeah, same thing. Lego Horizons Adventures is happening. I don't think there's a single thing on this list I could care less about, but that's happening.
I heard that was very good.
The game or the Lego game? I'm sure it's
The
fine.
Lego game.
I just don't.
So
I
it's a
don't know.
Lego version of Horizon Zero Dawn.
Yeah,
Yes.
Whatever.
it's so
which
weird.
I never got too into. I tried to get into those games, but
It doesn't seem like to me.
I
know
own
some
both
people
of
like
them.
those.
I just can't get into them.
But it just doesn't seem to me like on the level of any other Lego license, like Lord of the Rings, Nintendo, Star Wars, Harry Potter, and now Horizon.
I think it's just
One
a
of these things is not like the other.
cross-platform.
It's really weird. It's a really weird thing. I thought it was I mean, it wasn't April Fool's, but I thought it might be when I saw it. I was like, what? Okay.
I mean, to be fair, like
Sure.
what I've played of Horizon Zero Dawn, it does absolutely feel like it
You
would
guys-
make sense in the
Are you guys
Lego
really
world.
complaining when you got that new Zelda set?
Oh no, I mean, we're talking about the
I'm not complaining.
video games. I just can't wait till Lego Last of Us comes to Switch. I want to see Lego Last of Us 2, and I want it to be just as ridiculous.
Yeah.
You know, I want to feel
I want to
feel
confront
pain or
gender
whatever.
norms in the Lego universe.
That's a very funny idea.
Like really, like it just seems so weird, or like or Lego Kratos or something. Like let's do it. Why not? Lego BioShock on Switch. Let's do it. It'll be
I would
weird.
buy
But
that. I'd buy that.
I don't know. It just seems
Paul
like such.
Ryan is advising, how.
It just seems like such a random thing.
Would you kindly put PC to socket CD?
Were you referencing the last guy of BioShock? Because the last guy is actually it's Tim Ryan, right? Or it's one of my friends that have Ryan as the last name.
I was
really weird.
I was referencing
the one that
Paul
you fight
Ryan,
at the end.
who's like
It's like Tim
really
Ryan or
into,
Andy
like,
Ryan.
on Rond and all that.
Oh,
Yeah.
sure, yeah. The one that you fight is one of the. It has the same name as a person I know in real life.
It's like Atlas Shrugged the game.
Yeah. I read some of that because of BioShock. I read like halfway through the book, and I was like, "This is like this, really?" I don't know.
One last thing that I wanted to mention because we missed it last week, and this is pretty cool. There's a 9 CD box set of Tears of the Kingdom soundtrack. It's now available for pre-order.
I didn't think they had
You go
that
to-
much music
It has 11 hours of music,
because it's
344 tracks.
because they got. I mean,
Don't forget about that saxophone that was so prominent. And I was so excited about the saxophone and the.
But I mean, it shouldn't it be called a Breath of the Wild music? Because most of it is music we already heard from the previous game. For Tears, I mean, do they have that many discs released for that one? Because a lot of it is the same.
It's not.
I mean, there's a couple songs, but the battle songs are the same. Oh, wait, I guess they got some different ones for
That's
the,
bait.
dungeons.
That's bait.
It really is.
Pretty close.
It's $110. You can go to lightintheattic.com and order it there.
Cool.
The only thing that's not on here today was it Edge. Adam Copeland's out now for AEW Fight Forever. I haven't got to play it yet because I didn't have time to do it earlier today. But
Is it Adam Cole, baby?
Adam Copeland, aka Edge from WWE, is available on DLC now for AEW Fight Forever. And you have a PlayStation, right, Alex?
I do.
You can get AEW Fight Forever for free now on PS Plus. Download it and play it. It's a fun game.
Oh, really? It's on. Was it PlayStation Plus or whatever?
It's on PlayStation Plus. Yes, the entry level. It just got added this month of June.
Nice.
So
I'll
you
check it out.
can try it out. Tell your friends.
Play Stadium Stampede.
Somebody play AEW. Yeah, Stadium Stampede. It's like their own version of Fortnite that's on there. So yeah.
Minecraft is bringing Tetris.
Yeah, weird,
to
right?
Minecraft officially.
Does that mean
It's
can
like
you-
supposedly like you're like playing the game and there's like blocks. I don't completely understand it, but I did
And
find
Metallica's coming to Fortnite.
intriguing.
We're all getting weird here.
Yeah.
wait? Oh, for the
Hey, nothing else matters.
for the performance or whatever thing.
Yeah.
The Fortnite festival.
Yep. Billie Eilish was last. Now it's Metallica.
What I want to, but where's the guitar stuff? Didn't they say they were gonna make it to where you could use your old guitars? Like, what's up
You
with
can.
that? What
yeah,
happened
they
to
don't
that?
care about that.
No, that came out. Well,
Did
no,
it?
they released new guitars.
No, but they said
Yes, no,
that
they're
they were
going
going to
to-
make
they're
it
going to.
compatible to our old guitars. So
That update is still happening.
what's up with that?
But
Because I got a closet of them over here. We got like 8
I have a
guitars.
lot.
Like, want to use them again? Like, seriously, we got a bunch of them between.
Are you
Jess
going
and
to
I.
install
Guitar
Fortnite?
controllers for 3 different consoles.
Are you going to install Fortnite?
I mean, I
have
have
Fortnite.
I have installed it before.
Okay.
I
With the guitars?
I deleted it, but I could install it again.
With the guitars?
I mean, if
Sure.
it had guitar, yes. If
Why
I could
not?
use my old guitars, why not? Actually,
If I have to install my guitars, I will do it because it'll give them more meaning.
if they're putting the good Metallica on there, and I'm not talking about the Black Album, I'm talking about the original first 4 albums of
You're talking about Ride
Metallica.
the Lightning.
Yeah, I'm
I
talking
have
about
a friend.
I'm talking about Injustice for All, Ride the Lightning, Kill 'Em All, even with Dave Mustaine from Megadeth. Let's do that. Let's go back when Metallica was cool before they sold out to the radio. As my best friend's older brother would tell me in 1993 or whenever the fuck that. Actually, I think it was before that. Whenever the Black Album came out.
My friend is a tramp.
It was
Let's
92.
put the good Metallica stuff on there.
My friend has a tramp stamp that just reads the first 4 Metallica albums.
Wow.
That
Yeah.
stamp is correct.
Yeah.
I was working on a TV show, and one of the workers I blew his mind when I told him there was albums before the Black Album, and I'm like, really? What? You never heard it? You never heard one? You never heard the one song? Come on, I'm sure you heard that at one.
You ever
bar
read
at some
Johnny
point.
Got His Gun?
Yeah.
It was banned.
It's like you never. Yeah, I was like, you don't know about the bass player that died in the bus? Like, come on, dude.
All right, I gotta head off to Never Never Land.
Yeah, me too. Let's wrap this up. All right, thanks, thanks, Alex, for staying on as long as you did and all that, and thanks for telling us all
Hey, you
about
stuck
Summer
around
Game
longer than you
Fest.
said you would.
Tell everyone where to find you. You got a Patreon too, right? For Super GG.
Yep, we're at the Super GG Radio Podcast. We have a Patreon where you can, you get bonus content where you can come hang out with us. We also are giving away game codes for games that we've played on the show, little stickers, and we're coming up with more merch stuff. Other than that, you can find us on Twitter and all the normal podcast services, Spotify. Give us the old 5 stars.
Only 5 stars. Nothing else.
Is there more than that?
This podcast
10
is
stars.
Nintendomain
Give 10
approved.
stars. Give 10
All
stars.
of the listeners.
No, yeah, definitely check out Super GG Radio, and I'll put a link on the description and all that. And if you want to find more of our stuff, you can go to patreon.com/Nintendomain Podcast, where we have bonus shows on there, and you can watch our videos or listen to we have a music show where we put all the intros and outros on there called WART Radio. You can listen to it on there as well. And all that stuff. And also you can find me at twitch.tv/Nintendomain Podcast. I stream every Monday. You can find that there for our Wrestle Chat podcast and all that. And you can't, it's past the day, right? We can't find Jeremy on Twitter anymore. Have you deleted your account now that it's past the 10th since the Switch is no longer able to tweet on Twitter? You're not there anymore?
I'm not on Twitter anymore, officially.
Yeah. So
Bummer.
you can only find me on Twitter at Nintendo_domain. But you can also find me on Blue Sky, Bisky, whatever you want to call it, at Nintendomain. And just whatever, look up Nintendomain, you'll find it. Go to NintendoMainPodcast.com. Look at our new website that I made.
Good SEO.
There it is. You can find it. Anyway, yeah, we've been your hosts. I'm Trey Johnson.
Jerry Mikowski.
John Nitter.
And special guest,
Alex Orona.
And thanks everybody for listening. We'll see you next time.
憧れのビューティフォースター回るディスコボールやってきましたディスコホール目指せ輝くナンバーワン望みは高く限りなくオラのダンステップにみんなハンズアップフロアのテンションはもうライズアップクラッペハンダベヨースタンドアップ集まってそう固まってヒアウィゴーだエブリバディレーザービームでレッツラゴー上り詰めるべディスコプリンス宇宙に届けこのディスコダンスみんな大好き I love you ディスコテックそうファンケナイ